A Dayquil? Don't cook that in
man.
chicken.
Hello, everybody. If it's Wednesday, it's Warhammer, and that must mean it's time for another episode of Warhammer Weekly. Joining me, as always, is my one and only co-host, Tim. What's up, Tim? How you doing? See, we can see it there if I hover over. See, it clearly says Tim right here. Everybody can see that. You're slightly off screen. Hold on, I'm going to fix it. There we go. Tim. Beautiful. There we go. Now it's fixed.
Amazing.
Yeah, here to help. Joining us again, they're back on the show, and we couldn't be more excited. The party at the All Point Gang. Tristan, Dayton, Bud. Gentlemen, how you doing?
Loving life a quarter mile at a time, because I know what miles are.
Exactly.
Yeah, just really happy to be here, Vance. Tim, it's great to meet you.
Yeah, it's nice to meet you, Tristan.
There we go. There you go. It's just nice to, flex a little. Just getting around. Oh,
absolutely. Well, by the way, I want everybody to, in the show, if you're watching this in the future, or if you're watching this right now, please tell Dayton that his headphones are cute and adorable, and he has nothing to be ashamed of for them. That's right. There you go. So, at any rate, we're going to be talking about what we should keep. We're going to play a fun game tonight. Keep, change, kill. As in what we should keep in AOS, what should change in AOS, and what should be killed from AOS forever. So that's going to be our fun game we play as a group. But of course, first, the news.
Rumor engine.
Yeah. Okay.
Metal feathers.
Sure.
Solid guess.
You
think those are GW metallics?
I mean, probably.
Yes, they are definitely not painted with metallic paints. Those are definitely painted with matte paints.
Yeah, you would see the pigments if you would actually see the metal flecks if this was GW paints.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Okay, yep, that's a drink.
That's my metal flex.
There you go.
Is everyone else playing the Warhammer Weekly drinking game?
If people did that, they would die. I don't want to kill anybody. Yeah, there's too many things we say too often. Okay, Tristan, would you like to do your joke?
No, I'll say it.
Okay. Well, I'm going to say it if you don't say it, so you got to say it. I'm putting you over a barrel here.
Say it, Tristan.
Put it over a barrel.
Do it now.
Listen, you can't threaten me with a good time. Vance, tell him what it is.
There you go. Yes, his joke was, it looks like a bunch of the GW mold line scrapers, which it really does. Just like somebody's wearing a fan of GW mold line scrapers.
You know what? That's actually, you know what? That's exactly what it is. So what this actually is this is one of the holiday Christmas models.
Yep.
And it's one of the like spoofy ones. Sure. And the entire model is them made out of like objects. GW stuff. And I'll let you take a guess where that miniature handle is.
Well, I'm gonna guess like Gromber. So it's Grombrindel, right? The White Dwarf, and he's wearing a headdress of mold line scrapers. He has a like Citadel paintbrush in his hand. I assume his offhand weapon is that long stick with the teeth that has the rubber bands that you're supposed to use to prime things. That's completely insane. That looks like one of the old Seraphon weapons or Amazon weapons.
He definitely has a kilt that's made out of pin vices.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Just all of the GW tools. Or it's a Birdman of Katraza, or it's a Necromunda figure, or I don't care. It's one of those three things, though, for sure.
Yeah. It's a bunch of ducks all going backwards, like folding back.
I like it.
Oh my gosh. Can we acknowledge that's like $280 worth of mold line removers in that model right now?
Canadian?
Yeah, give or take. That's before you have HST out there in the East Coast, right? 15%.
That is 100% correct there, bud.
Okay, I did. That was
15% on tap.
Yeah, ours is only 12% sales tax, so it would be a little less. I did not calculate the taxes. This was all before taxes.
In this economy,
these are not great services. Those are goods and services. There you go.
That's right.
Yes, definitely the thing I don't want to get into is Canadian tax, the bane of my normal daily existence. And so I'd prefer not to have to deal with your ridiculous tax system in my fun job as well. So here we go.
Okay. Sorry.
It's all right.
Sorry, Vince.
Sorry.
I'll go next because
Go
I'm
for it.
just going to volunteer myself. Seeing as Tristan volunteered about how we're all doing and was the only one who said, I'm doing great. Doing great, thanks. So one of the things I thought of when I first saw it was the Cypher Lords leader from the Warcry.
Okay.
She's got that fan.
Sure.
It's kind of sorta looks like that. Otherwise, it looks pretty AdMech-y to me. So 40k drink, yay, yay AdMech.
So what we know is it could be any 40k thing, a Necromunda thing, an old world thing, a headdress on any random figure, the holiday figure, any other random guesses people would like to throw out. Can we somehow get Lord of the Rings in here?
IDK lionfish model.
Sure.
Ooh.
Absolutely.
Oh, wow.
That's
Yeah,
that
I
was
saw that
yes.
a couple times in the chat. Yeah.
Multiple people in the chat have said looks like lionfish. Yes. Okay.
Old world pub where they're playing darts and everyone has hit a very particular spot.
Sure. All right. Good. All right, let's move on because I hate this rumor engine. It makes me angry.
So bad. It's such a bad rumor.
It's so amazing. We have a new book dropping.
That's right.
Book.
That's right.
Book. Zinch.
Notably, a book not dropping at the same time.
I mean, it's fine.
My first single is dropping. So we have the Zinch Vanguard going up, the Zinch book, Zinch dice, actual like legible Zinch dice, a new twist, a new wacky thing GW's trying out. So stop it. Go back to insane dice that are never useful and can't be rolled. That's what are you doing to us here?
To be fair, Bud had a moment
To be fair.
with those dice.
Oh yes, I did. I saw those dice, and it was like, Jesus, Mary, and Martha. These are amazing. It's the first time I've ever wanted to buy GW dice. Was when I saw these.
The original ones or the new ones?
The new ones, the ones they posted on, they just put up last weekend or whatever. The only thing that would make him better is if you had a button that could change the ones to whatever number you wanted whenever you rolled.
Oh, they became Canadian dice.
Those would be true change dice of change. Like,
Yes.
just
See,
click a button.
these are the one dice that I've bought with GW, and I don't know. To me, this is perfection right there.
Exactly. We've reached I mean, if there's any reason that says why they went to functional dice, it's because of those Lumineth dice. Like, they reached the mountaintop, and there's just nowhere else to go. You know, Alexander wept, for there were no more worlds to conquer. That's it. You did it. You got there.
Yeah, Fonzie jumped the shark.
Yeah.
These dice don't change color in my hand. The more it heats up, then I'm gonna be sorely
Oh
disappointed.
my gosh!
It's,
Dayton wins.
It'd be amazing if they went green.
Like, no, they should be blue and then they turn pink because you know, the
100%.
pink fire
I like all
and blue
that.
fire and you know that kind of thing.
Green, the pink,
Zinch.
the blue, all speaking to me.
So this is the Vanguard box. This will be around $100 US. The Magister on disc, 10 Xannies, 10 of these acolytes that we're still trying to make a thing. We'll see how they turn out in the new book. The
40.
fetch, if there ever was, of Age of Sigmar, and then 3 Screamers and 3 Flamers. So, okay. Cool.
Yeah, it's fine. It's a nice box.
Everyone's gonna be like, "I got 3 flamers. Does anybody want some Zangors, acolytes, and screamers?"
Hey, Screamers are cool.
Like,
They
You
are.
get
This
3
would be
Flamers and
a-
3 Screamers, and then a bunch of dudes for reasons I can't figure out.
this would be a near perfect box if you had like 3 disc guys instead of the acolytes. Like, looking at this, I'd be like, I'll trade that box.
Oh, sure. If you had like three Zangor disc
Yeah,
writers
disc
of
guys.
whatever. Yeah, sure. Of
Yeah.
build choice.
Ed, how else are you gonna move those sculpts? Like, come on.
Yeah.
They're not leaning into the theme. It needs to be a mystery box. Every time you open it, it's
Oh
a
my
different
gosh.
model.
There you
Oh
go.
my God.
The
Battle.
blind box Vanguard.
Do you remember the battle box from like 3 or 4 years ago that had like 20 acolytes, 20 Zangors, but then it had a Lord of Change,
Lord of Change, yeah.
6
Yeah.
Enlightened, and a
Yep.
Zangor Shaman?
Yeah, but if
Battle
you
Force
want that, I
box.
can pick that up for you next week.
Oh, awesome. I can't pay for it for a long time, but you can definitely pick it up for me.
All right.
Christmas is around the corner.
It's a good it was a good battle box. Some of those battle boxes were
Was.
legitimately great.
Yeah.
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 Okay. But this is good. Fine. Perfectly reasonable start. So we'll see how the Zinch books looks out. Zinch review coming next week. So tune in for that.
Yep.
Yeah.
With the quickness.
So Sons of Bahamut Giant. Do we want to talk about that?
Sure. Here he is.
Yes, we do.
I mean, here's the thing we need. Like, I have the image up of his club.
Sure.
His Men Here
Yep.
club. And
His-
Tristan, you seem
his
very
putting-
excited about this guy.
His Putting
I'm
Down
really
Monsters Club.
Well, I suppose. I mean, that's what it says narratively.
You like to gamble, Vince. You know you do.
Yeah, very good. Yes, there we go. Tomb
It's
King Bone
Yeah.
Giant, or as it were, not really bone,
Well,
but yes.
yeah, but it is kind of the natural extension of the old rule that was for the Necrosphinx,
Yeah.
and which was the roll 2 6s,
The
Get
decapitating strike.
get a decapitating strike of 10 mortal wounds. This is kind of like that, so I'm in.
All right. So, interesting. Good things about this. We get another basically giant added into the mix. This is the non special or unique build of the new King Brood box, right? Which will have the upgrade sprue. So that's how this is
I
going
love
to be
his
packaged.
little fake eyeball. I love
I
his little
really
fake
hate it.
eyeball.
I really hate it.
I don't care. I love it.
It's fine. I'm just saying.
Then
I really
make an
hate
eye
it.
patch. Make a green stuff eye patch.
All of my megas wear masks, so I don't care. It's fine.
There's probably some good videos you could watch to do that too, Vince.
Indeed, I'm
Yeah, I know a guy.
I'm okay if you like it. I'm not yucking your yum. I'm just saying I hate it personally.
And he has he's eating the arm. I just love it. It's a great death giant.
Sure.
Can you imagine it painted up like a zombie?
Sure, you could easily. I could see that certainly. Okay,
I love the cranberries.
so yeah, I mean, who doesn't really?
Raspberries.
This club. This is the Monster Slayer guy, right? So this is your Beast Slayer Mega Gargant or whatever.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
3 attacks on 3s, 2s, rend, TBD, right? But it clearly degrades. 5
Probably
damage.
starts at a 4.
Well, I don't know. That's swinging high. Most of the killer giant stuff starts at 3. So I think it's fair to assume it is at least a 3.
It's
Okay.
inflation. Inflation's like 10% right now.
It's a
In
good
this
point.
economy?
Maybe the rend is inflated up. Yeah. I would point out that the average damage this guy does to a monster, if it has a 4-up save, is 8.3 with his normal attacks. Now that's a lie. That's lying with math, because what he actually does is either 5 or 10 damage, tilted slightly towards 10. Right. That's how the math is working there.
Sure.
It's 60-40-ish% chance attacking a monster with a 4-up save. If you go
But
for
it
the
could
single
do
big strike,
15.
that is true. That is a mathematical possibility. Yes,
That's factual.
it's not the 18 Dirthu can do, but sure, why not? I understand that the little tree guy with his special sword has higher damage still, but at least it's not damage 2. So small victories. Okay.
True.
The single attack thing I've been arguing for forever, like having a different mode, right? Where you could just take one big swing. Boy, did they go all the way that direction. I was arguing for 10 attacks at 2 damage or 2 attacks at 8 damage, but no, they went just whoop, snuck it all the way down there. The average damage on the club strike, assuming you all out attack him, which would be completely insane not to do. Why would you ever swing that without an all out attack? Is again 12.3, but that's again lying with math. It's not actually this is a little more swingy because it's 5d6.
Yeah. It depends on the rend. The rend is the real question here.
Absolutely. I'm assuming rend 3 for all these calculations, by the way.
Yeah.
The challenge is that's not real. What you actually do is 0 or 17. That's the real numbers, right? It is the Timmiest Timmy thing that's ever Timmy to Timmy.
I know attacks on 2s and 2s do 0 damage. I know that for a fact. One attack on 2s and 2s, 0 damage every time.
Oh,
Yes,
Marathi.
you're correct, Garrett. That's what I'm saying. Like the average is lying with math, right? So like your actual, you stand on 2s and 2s against a like 2-up armor save. You stand a pretty decent chance, like I ran all these numbers and I don't remember off the top of my head. I'm sorry. You stand, I think it's like a 40% chance of doing 0 damage, maybe higher.
Oh yeah, totally.
And but yes, it's like what you're actually going to do is like nothing or something between
everything.
Something in between like 14 and 20, really is.
Or you like one shot a Sphinx. I mean, you won't because of the ward save, but
sure. So it's okay damage. It's fine. It's fine.
You'll kill a cock for sure.
Yeah, you'll take that cockatrice right out. Take that.
Yeah.
So at any rate, that's him. He's cool. Cool model. I like more options in the army. That's a good thing. It's good.
Kind of in.
Agreed.
Kind of in.
But
this
it's
is the army that I've played the most probably in AOS 3, and having one more option I think will just be making way more fun. And I'm just hoping that they like mess around with the points a little bit more, because I know they can't with like Megguard as is, but with Brood I'm hoping that he'll actually have a scroll that's like worth I don't know, 600 points.
Sure, absolutely. Like I think it would be great if we tweaked him a little bit and messed around so that they were more in the like 430 or 420 to 600 range and created some giants that had some spread in that area. Yeah. I'm just excited because you're getting a priests. So that's cool.
Yeah.
We're getting priests.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. All right. What else we got, Tom?
Yeah, so we have an FAQ dropping.
We do. Boom. There it is. This FAQ is largely related to one thing. Well, there's two things. I'm not going to bring up the other one. The other one is they eroded back in the Beasts of Chaos keyword to the Zangor, Enlightened, and Skyfires that came in Arcane Cataclysm, because that keyword had gotten left off. So, cool, fine, fixed it. We all knew that was going to happen. No big deal. But this is the change. Purple Sun. The Purple Sun got changed. So, what changed with Purple Sun? Mainly 3 things. Number 1, it now only affects units within 1 inch of it at the end of its move instead of 3 inches. So quite a change to its effective aura. For its kill aura. Its negative to save aura remained exactly the same.
It's negative save is within 6 inches, wasn't it?
No, it was always 6 inches.
It was.
And then if you roll the 1, if the unit has a wounds characteristic of 9 or less, 1 model in the unit slain, so it'll still kill basically non-big heroes. And then if you're a big hero, i.e. how the game sees big commander versus their leader versus sub commander or whatever the heck the name is, then you take d6 plus 6 mortal wounds. And then the third change is its point cost is now 90, up from 70. So, gentlemen, what do we think of this change? Bud, I'm going to start with you.
I like the change. I used the Purple Sun at a tournament, and I didn't feel like it was fair, although I really enjoyed rolling ones on back-to-back hero phases, killing big Nurgle heroes. But it didn't feel right for a 60-point model to be able to do that. This makes sense. Like, you got a great big hero. It shouldn't... I mean, it still could take it off, but now there's more involved. Like, there's more of a chance that it won't take it off, but you could still do some serious damage. And 90 points makes way more sense than 60.
Yeah. Agreed. It was 70, but I take your meaning nonetheless.
70.
You're okay. Sorry. Yes, exactly. 90 is where this feels like it belongs instead of 70, which was ridiculous and made all other endless spells look like a joke if they weren't utility endless spells by comparison.
Yep.
Dayton, what do you think about the change?
Hey, I just finished attending a tournament up in Prince George, the Northern Wastes, and the final was between Skaven and Flesh-Eater Courts. Usually a pretty favorable match for Flesh-Eater Courts. In the top of turn 2, he sent a Purple Sun out and killed 2 Archregents on Terrorgeist and his Archregent on foot. The guy shook his hand, took his toys, and walked out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I would say this change, I give them 2 meows. of improvement.
2 approving meows. All right, very good. Tristan, what do you think about the Purple Sun change?
I think it's something like this needed to happen. I do think it was actually a pretty good governor for the last few months on some of the larger big models, while it would have a couple swing games like that ridiculous Northern Waste final. For a few armies, it was a way to actually have a chance to kill something, right?
Mhm.
And I think it was just, for me, it was like points, but I do think that this needed to change, obviously. It's nice. We can all remember the time whenever the Purple Sun ruled the world again. Like we can mark this in our calendars, like before Purple Sun and after Purple Sun. But I do think
it
it
was
still
a
has.
solstice.
Oh, wow!
Brilliant.
There you go.
Brilliant.
Thanks.
That was
Nice
good.
job, Tim.
Thanks.
And it's like just like I never got to use it. I never had it go off ever in a game, and it never killed anything of mine because I'm running giants. But I do think that it's nice that it still keeps its negative rend. It's nice that it keeps like some of the features of it.
Mhm.
But yeah, just kind of whatever. It's like
Sure.
great. We won't have the little whiteboards that have the Purple Sun kill counts
Yeah,
anymore,
sure.
which I always-
You
which
can
I
still
thought
eat a
was
lot of
fun.
small heroes. I mean, I would point out it's still going to do a lot of heavy lifting against things like Nurgle, and all their bloatflies like are still very much being consumed by this thing, which is a pretty potent tool against that. Probably either most powerful or one of the top 3 armies in the meta right now. So that's good.
Gonna do more damage against Marathi and Gargants.
Yeah, well, Marathi will still cap at 3, but yes,
But there was always that chance of like rolling that 6 up on the 3 mortal wounds that she would take. So now she's definitely get it.
Sure. Yes, now she's definitely taking her 3. Yeah, I mean, Suns eat it. Like they get to full D6 plus 6, which I enjoy. Take that.
Oof.
Tom, what do you think of the Purple
It's
Sun change?
fine. It's fine. I mean, I say that as a Night Haunt player. It's fine.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like, I mean, it's still not going to deter me, right?
Yeah,
like,
Purple Sun is just another
like-
unit in your army that moves along with your lines.
Right. Yeah, it zones for me. It screens. It's fine. I'm still taking it at 90 points, and it's still doing its job.
Sure.
It never went off. It never really popped off for me either. So like, I just never got to see it really shine. But it's fine.
Okay. Cool. All right. Yeah, I mean, for me, I did use it when it was broken, and it did kill a lot of stuff. So I'm actually quite glad for the change. I did have an opponent. Basically, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't the like 2 arch regents and a thing like that. I didn't have that happen, but I had a Beastclaw opponent who only had like 3 units left on the table, and had a decent plan to cause some serious damage with his Frost Lord on Stonehorn, and then nope. Into the sun he went. And that was less than fun for him, and I was like, yep, that sucks. So there we are.
Couldn't even enjoy it though.
Okay. Cool. Well, with that, let's go to some
Well-
oh, go ahead.
Well, now I guess I can do it in 2 weeks. We'll be fine. I'll announce it later.
Okay, sounds good. You announce it later, Tom.
We
for
have
now,
other AOS news that are not that it's not like it's in genre, but not. We're gonna wait. We'll wait until the actual release on like the 7th.
are you talking about the secret layer drop? Is that what you want to talk about, Tom?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna talk about.
We'll talk about it when it comes out. That's fine.
Great.
Okay.
God.
So at any rate, let's talk about some pick of the week. We're gonna swing back up to Bud. Bud, you're first. What do you got? You got a Tyler level amount of choices today.
Oh, my pick of the week. It's a painting YouTube channel, and it's not yours. I'm
Oh,
really
sorry. Tristan has all the choices. I apologize, Tristan. You're doing
No, I
Tyler's
only-
job today.
I-
Bud, you've only got one. Yeah, go ahead.
I only got one.
You can recommend other painting channels. I do it all the time.
Okay. All right. Thanks. And I don't even remember his name exactly. It's Zoroastro.
Sarastro, yes.
Zoroastro, which I find fabulous. I've been painting a lot of Marvel Crisis in the last year and a half, just because my students really love playing Marvel Crisis and they like well painted miniatures. So that becomes my job. And I find his videos like really easy to follow. And there's a lot of techniques of his that I won't try because he shows really good up to a level. And then there's stuff that go up here, but you don't have to go up there to make the models look really good. And you don't feel like you have to. So it's, that's my pick of the week. I've really enjoyed just following his stuff.
It's a great choice. The man does a lot of work on his
Yep.
videos. Like, he is an exemplary video maker. It is crazy the level of quality that guy puts in his videos. So, absolutely. Dayton, what do you got?
Yeah, there's a campaign going on right now. It ends, I believe, at the end of this week. That'll be the 40 hours of 40K campaign that's going on right now. It's all the top artists in England all work together to raffle off, and this year it's 1,000 Suns Army. This is their 4th year doing it. Andrew's going to be playing 40 hours of 40K this weekend, starting Saturday, and I think they're already up to like 5,000 pounds. There's a bunch of prize supports for that, and it's all going towards the CALM campaign, which is the campaign against living miserably. And it's all basically like people dealing with PTSD, ex-military, first responders, and such like that. So it's a really good campaign, and honestly, these are some of the top painters, commission painters, and I think Bobby at Red Eagle Studios I think he's got 27 artists that helped him this year.
Wow.
So, and they've been working on this army since January, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And
That is
so
amazing.
that's going on. So that's the serious one, and then the fun one is the what is it? The Art for Kids Hub on YouTube, which yeah, it's great. Like they just like draw a picture, and it's like him and someone else. So then I always sit down with my daughter, and we each draw our own take on it, and then color them in, and it's a fun like little half hour.
Nice.
What was the latest one that they just put up there, Dede?
Oh, it's all gonna be Halloween themed now. They're rolling into Halloween hard.
Yeah.
It was a werewolf hot dog.
Yeah, it's a pretty fun channel.
Very nice. You can find those links down below. It's a great cause, absolutely. Tristan, you have the Tyler amount of picks. I apologize. Hit us.
I'm just gonna go with the full Taylor here. Now, I actually got one specifically for the Space Station Zero sickos in the chat.
Yes.
A beautiful book that's called Burzok's Mercenary Handbook. It's done by this artist who goes under the name Bag Boss, and it is this like 20 or 30 page, sort of like the classic Star Wars books that I used to have as a kid. They'd always be like a little bit thick. They'd have like a big write up about the ships and about like the characters, and like it'd have like all the teardowns. It's kind of like that, but for these oddball mercenaries that are like all like spacey. Great art style, super what's the word? It's like kind of like almost a French vibe to it, but like 1970s French artists.
Sure.
Gorgeous stuff. The characters are hilarious, and you can probably hit them up on Twitter, or you can go to the link just below. It's great. It's only $10 for the PDF, but I think he has a couple of the hard copies left over, because they actually did do a full run of this, and it's a gorgeous book, super fun, and I think that anybody who likes Space Station Zero could have a lot of fun like taking characters from this or having that as like a springboard for an idea.
Very nice.
And then the next one is for one of my favorite people on the internet, Hey Whoa. I don't know if you've heard of him.
We've heard of him.
Great guy. Great list.
Uh-huh.
They're pretty big. I forgot to wear my hat. Damn it.
Oh, Hey Whoa was a great guy.
He's a really good guy. I like him a lot. He has a first tournament checklist video. It's about 10 minutes. I'm going to my first tournament ever. Like, I've never been to a big like hullabaloo
Wow.
thing to do.
Okay.
So this precocious neophyte is super stoked and super terrified that I'm going to forget so many things. But with this checklist that he has, it's going to be a good time because I'm going to make sure I have my everything, as long as, I own it and it exists. Because with the Giants book coming out, I am going to be taking my Tomb King's Giants, and if that book doesn't exist only on the internet in whatever form, I guess that's what I'm going to use.
There you go.
And then finally, at the end of my complete tailordom, we have the Nomad Feastmasters Battle Report, because you can't be Taylor and not have Season of War.
You got to have a Season of War pick. Absolutely.
Absolutely. So I went full Taylor, and Season of War just did a Nomad Feastmasters Battle Report, and it is amazing. You get to see some of the ins and outs of the battle tome, see everything actually come to life. Ridge and Jordan have a great game between some Gits and the Nomads. You get to see like some of the pushes and pulls of everything. It just seems like a total blast, and I love the creativity that the community has, and seeing something so well done come to life on a great battle report channel. Beautiful thing, beautiful thing. If you got the time, definitely check it out.
Absolutely. All linked below. Tom,
And that's it.
you're up next.
I mean,
Pick.
In seeing the list, right? I was like, I'm not picking something. There's like 20 options here. So, no. Pass.
Pass. Okay, got it.
Boo.
That's
Boo
fine.
this man.
Yes, I agree. Thank you.
Pass.
Come on, Tad.
My pick of the week is for, speaking of Space Station Zero, there's a channel called Manning the Fort. Bought Space Station Zero, did a really cool review of it, kind of walks through. So if you're looking for more like an outsider's perspective, nobody we know. I don't know this gentleman. Seems like a super cool dude. He likes the game I wrote, so that makes me like him. You know, pretty easy to me. I'm a pretty easy person to win over. But no, it's a good review. Talks you through it and talks through like what's there, what's the game like, that kind of thing. So if you want to see somebody else, you know, who picked it up cold and does a good breakdown of it, link down below. Check it out.
Hey Vince,
Yes.
do we do shout outs at the end, or is that part of is that kind of what the pick of the week is?
You can shout out now or at the end. Who would you like to shout out, bud?
I'll do it now. Okay, so I got a box of Marvel Crisis models in the mail today from Mike Maccabee from Alabama, who's like, hey, I have all this MCP stuff sitting in my closet that's not doing anything. I want to send this to you for your school club. So it's like, it was like 20 models in there.
That's awesome.
And like Dyson tokens. So thank you very much. I opened it up today. I was just like, this is so amazing. So I wanted to shout him out because that was just like an amazing thing that I got in the mail today from him.
That's awesome.
I want to shout out Bud, because Bud's awesome.
Took mine.
I want to shout out Bill Souza. I made this shirt just for you.
There it is. All right. Let's talk about a little hobby time, shall we, gentlemen? Bud, what's been on your table, man? What are you working on? What have you been painting?
So in preparation, I haven't touched AOS since NashCon. It's been a rough time. But
These are the dark
painting.
times.
Yeah, they are. I have been painting a lot of Marvel Crisis terrain. Some of it terrain that Anthony Polcastro printed up for me and gave me at NashCon. Just painting models and getting stuff ready for the school year. Kids are so excited. We had our first like gaming day at lunch today, so kids playing at the tables, just like, oh, this model, I want this model, and just learning how to play and hobbying, and it's just warms my heart so much. So.
You're doing the Lord's work there. Getting the next generation into the games. That's good. Mm-hmm. That's good. Absolutely. Dayton, how about yourself? What's on? You're painting something right now.
That's all I do. I work, I paint, and I parent. Currently going through Night On. I am looking at 80 Blade Geist that I've been painting up in the King in Yellow theme.
Very nice. Going hard into Blade Geists, huh?
Yeah, I don't half-ass anything. I full ass, just all the cat ass into all this Night On.
Very nice. Very nice. Tristan, what about yourself? What Tomb Kings thing has been on your table recently?
Well, I finished off a unit of 3 skeleton chariots because I'm a sicko. I'm just coming into like the very final parts of actually that big giant choppy guy that I have over my shoulder here that I showed a little bit earlier.
Yep.
I just have to finish up the basing and some of the that's what I've left. A couple of gems because some idiot sculpted probably a couple hundred gems on that.
Sure.
I'm that idiot, by the way.
I got
And
you.
then I have
You're
to
you're the
finish-
gem, Tim.
Oh, thanks, buddy. Sorry,
That's
Dayton.
Dayton.
And then I have to do this gigantic Ushabti that I just finished the other day. Building.
Well, he's very pretty. I like that.
Thank you. Thank you.
The question is it going to be done in 3 weeks, Tristan?
Yeah, shut up, Dayton.
Yeah.
I'm terrified.
Where's the rest of Manfred? What'd you do with the rest of Manfred?
I assume that is that going to be what is he standing in as?
He's a man crusher because I'm like that.
Very nice.
Man crusher.
Beautiful.
Extra.
That looks like it was at the Avatar of Kane as the base, the 40k Avatar of Kane.
No, that's a different one actually. This is Magnus the Red.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah,
Right.
got a couple pieces. I actually took the Sphinx's legs from the Necrosphinx kit and used that as the arms.
Quality.
Just rearranged them. But yeah, I do have an Avatar of Kane one back there. I did a really fun little build it challenge with the wonderful Steve Foote, and we both had a great time messing around with that kit.
Very nice. It is a very fun kit. It's good for it. It has a lot of potential in it. I like that.
Well, yeah. Vince, what have you been working on?
Well, it's Tom's turn first. Don't worry. I'll go last. Tom,
Who's Tom?
what commission projects haven't you been finishing?
No, I'm not even touching those right now. I got to pass on those. I have
Okay.
a pause, an official pause that they said I can wait. So,
Okay.
Fire Slayers is the right answer.
Got it. Getting your Fire Slayers
Working
ready to
on-
go?
Working on Fire Slayers.
Okay. All
I
right.
thought you were gonna say I'm waiting till October 7th to answer that.
I mean, I might be, but that's another conversation.
Sure. For myself, I painted up this big boy. He's just a quick, fun job. It was just like a day project that turned into a 2-day project, but he was just a quick, fun little dude. This is the.
He's so big.
He is really big. Yes, this is the Clay Beast Creations rat guy. He was a little unwieldy to paint, I will admit, but he's a cool model. Just because his size, and I went back and forth, and I painted him and then hated it and painted over him again and still hated it, and then third time's a charm, and I got him to something I don't hate. So
He kind of looks like a Todd McFarlane action figure.
a little bit, yeah. So he's the he'll be my Vermin Lord Deceiver. Obviously, he's the teleporty. Like he has no lower body. I don't know if you can see that or not. There's no lower body there. He has no legs.
Oh.
It's just he's appearing out of nothing. So
So you painted
but
that
yeah.
3 times in 2 days.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I hate you so much.
Well, I hate
I love
I
you
hate
too.
how my paint job looks. If it makes you feel any better. So that we're
Okay.
all in the same boat.
All right. Okay. So we're all happy then.
Yeah, exactly. We can all be
Oh,
miserable together.
Vince.
Yay.
Everybody's mad at Vince.
That's how we roll in Manitoba.
But now that Scary Rat is done, that leaves me one other giant rat that needs to be painted. She's not within arm's reach, but that's
Sexy rat.
Sexy Rat. Yeah, absolutely. It's time. I've cleared my bench of everything else that I had over those weeks I couldn't paint, and now it's time. Now it's time to invest way too much time into that model, and make everyone question my sanity and other important aspects of my life. All right, but Sexy Rat is it's coming.
Sexy rat is what's up.
It is what's up. All right, gentlemen, are you ready to play America's favorite new game show? I'll take your silence as yes.
I'm gonna say, Vince, I don't know if you know this, but we live in Canada,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and I don't know if you have the broadcasting rights. for
Did
the
you talk
show.
to the CRTC?
Yeah, we're gonna have to see. The CanCon levels are good because you have like a 3-to-2 ratio.
A
but
60% ratio.
we need to know about the writing staff.
It's-
Production crew.
It's all Canadian all the way down here. Absolutely. Don't worry.
Nice.
We're good.
Okay. We're
We actually
Canadian at heart.
produce this out of Vancouver, so we're good.
Oh,
We use all
okay.
Canadian extras. It basically looks like the cast of iZombie or any CW superhero
Yeah.
show behind the scenes here.
Yeah,
So
or all the Jackie
Nice,
Chan
my,
movies.
my buddy's on that. That's funny.
there you go. There you go. So keep,
That's funny.
change, kill. We are going to be discussing the things in Age of Sigmar that should be kept, what should stay around but be changed, perhaps significantly, and then what should be killed. What is irredeemable What cannot be saved and should just be put out to pasture. Yes, absolutely. So that is the game we play tonight. I'm going to start with a little summary here. This is just Vince talky part for a minute, and then we'll get into the game. But I'll get your all feedback on this on my summary part here. 40,000 foot view of AOS right now is this. It's in the best place it's ever been as a game. Most armies are falling in the 45 to 55% win rate. We're seeing tighter wins. More like the top of tournaments is generally a wider swath of armies than it's ever been. Most new books are coming better balanced, playing to the army's themes and offering better internal and external balance. We're far from perfect. We got a ways to go on that, but it's better. There are, however, some real challenges with 3.0. Complexity, ease of entry, the current season's rules in the GHB certainly leave something to be desired, I think. So the goal here is keep, change, kill. We pick one item from the game to keep it as is, change it into something better, but evolve or kill from the game completely. This can be any unit, thing, rule, core rule, doesn't matter. Just anything, any discrete thing in AOS. We can be our choices. Each of us will make one choice per keep, change, kill, and you, the audience, will vote. Not really, because we don't have a voting mechanism in this, but imagine you do. You can just put in the comments who you like or something like that. Okay. So, these are my summary statements. Tristan, what do you think of my summary statements? Do you agree with my starting foundational premise?
I think the foundational premise is solid. I really like the fact that we get to talk about maiming and killing, and I always like having a catchy title. I think that this will be a very fun and lively discussion.
I agree. Bud, where are you falling on this?
I already know that anything I say that has to do with Gits will automatically make me the winner, so I've remembered that part, even though there are no winners and losers in this. I do absolutely agree with the complexity of the game right now. As someone who deals with a lot of younger players trying to get into AOS, it's like there's a lot of paring down that has to happen with the rules just to get youngsters going into the hobby. But I think the game is in a really good place. I like 3.0. We're going to get into some of the things I really like about it, or actually just one thing, because Vince said that's all I was allowed. But good.
Well, I'm sure we'll sneak in some lightning rounds here or there. You know how it is with the format of these shows. Okay. Dayton, what about you? Where are you living?
Yeah. So like when it first rolled out, the new GHB, I was pretty scared with all the rules, but things have been balancing out really well in the meta. And something that I can always say that I haven't had any argument to is like there hasn't been a bad book. Like things seem to be pretty good, and it's not like the newest thing is the new greatest, latest, and that's what's going to kick the tournament's ass. No, it's like they're complex, and you got to kind of figure them out. And they seem to be pretty good internal balance.
Yeah, it's funny. All of 3.0 has been like a proof point that power creep isn't a thing, because like the top 3 armies in the meta, there's like one in there of the current books or whatever, and everything else is bounces around between old 2.0 books and stuff like that. Like there's 2.0, there's second edition books, the top second edition books way down at the bottom, all that kind of stuff. Most of the 3.0 books are sitting pretty firmly in the middle. There's just one little potential outlier there. Grandfather be praised. Tom, what about you?
Fine. No, I agree with I agree with the summary. I think that there are real challenges, but it's hard to refute the fact that like AOS is truly in the best place it's been.
Yeah.
It's really banging on all cylinders. Every book I'm looking forward to. There really hasn't been the studio is doing very well.
Yeah. Yeah, I do think that the ease of entry is the biggest challenge right now. Like where the place is the game is in a great place for competitive players, for knowledgeable players, for people who are in it. But gosh, there's no like we're in top gear constantly, right? Like there is no wheeling it back to drive around the neighborhood and take a nice casual Sunday afternoon drive, right? It's just throttle is all the way engaged, period. And that's the problem. That's where one of the problems. Okay, so let us begin. Keep it. We're going to start with keep it. Okay. So we begin with the keep it thing. This is where we're all going to pick a thing that we think should stay in Age of Sigmar going forward. We keep it as it is right now. Okay. So you're not allowed to change anything here. It has to be, it's lifted up and set down and done. Okay. All right, Bud, you're up first. What are we keeping?
Good. Battle tactics.
Wow.
Okay. Leave it 3.0 thing. That's been one of my favorite things that I've liked about this edition. I've dabbled in 40K, and I've enjoyed their secondary objectives that they had, and felt that we could use something like that in AOS. And I think AOS does that better. Like with the turn-by-turn battle tactics, I think is better than the 40K secondaries. And I like, they always need improvement. Some books, Daughters of Cain, get stuff that they shouldn't, because I don't know what Dayton all sends. It's probably Saskatoon Jam that Nicole makes and sends to the GW headquarters that lets Daughters of Cain have what they do have. But
It's
battle
good jam.
tactics, that's my keeper.
Okay. That's a bold. That is a bold first pick, coming out very strong. Tristan, you're up next. What's your keep
Like
it?
it. For me, it's the extra reach on small models. The yes and of this edition. The being able to actually have your smaller models get that extra reach that came with becoming a Galatian veteran.
Gotcha. So the bonds of brotherhood or bonds of battle or brotherhood battle bond brothers or something like that, whatever it's called. The thing where you can fight if you're within a half an inch of somebody who's within a half an inch.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think that this completely changed the game for so many units, and it's made a lot of things that could be fun actually fun.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it just like, this should just be the rule. Like, that just should be how it works. Like, this has come from a guy who plays Mega Gargants and Tomb King. So it's like, it doesn't affect me much, but it just, I can see the joy in other people's. I can see the kill ability, the absolute slaughter that it's unlocked for some people, and it's how it's made some units that could be absolutely shafted by the coherency rule still usable.
Okay. Now, I know we said we have to keep it and it can't change, but this would have to change because theoretically Galatian veterans don't stick around forever, right? So,
but it could become a core rule.
Right, yeah, sure. Exactly. Absolutely. Like, we keep the rule. So it's legal. It's legal. You're good. You're good. I'm just asking, like, when it gets kept going forward, is that just how Battle Line works?
Yeah, I think Battle Line or infantry keyword, I feel like, should be how it works.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just basically like that size roll group of models, they just fight like that. That's what they can do.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. All right. Okay.
No, not as bold as Bud, but not many people are.
Hey, it's a solid pick. I suspect you're gonna have a. I suspect you're gonna be that's a much more popular choice than Bud's. I'll say that right away. Okay.
I'm just incredibly popular. That's how it works.
There, it's one follows right from the others. Dayton, what's your keep it? What are you keeping?
Hey, Jen. I'm keeping the lack of bonus points in the tactics to piggyback off Bud a little bit too. Thanks, buddy.
Okay. Basically, just keeping them like pin them to 2.
There's like almost no bonus tactics, like, because we just came out of a GHB edition that was just chocked full of bonus points everywhere that could just throw a game, and now it's actually super tight games, focus more on the objectives. You know what I mean? Like, you're actually vying and trying to control more than your opponent to get that one extra, because that one extra could win you the game. And when you're down to the 5th turn, you're like, the grand strat could be really this. I need to cancel his and get mine, because that'll determine it. I've had a lot of really close games with this edition, and it's been fun and intense and great outlandish moments of screaming at dice. That's what I'm all about. It's a lot of fun. So there's my kitty of improvement.
Very nice. Yeah, I mean, the reality is if we ever want grand strategies to mean anything, and no one's picked that to keep it, but like, let's just say they stick around, right? Whatever. If we want them to ever mean anything, then the games have to be relatively close, right? Because if you're already winning 32-10,
Yeah.
like, who cares, right? If that's sort of the average delta, then grand strategies are just a completely pointless choice you write down on your sheet and never ever care about because it's never going to influence the game ever, right? But if points are relatively constrained and people are fighting back and forth on the, like, you know, the getting the full 3 points out of the hold 1, hold 2, hold more situation, and tactics are largely just 2 here, you know, just set it 2 and that's what they are, then it does produce just simply a tighter range of potential points outcomes, right? That's what happens.
Yeah, pretty simple.
Okay. Very good. And yes, it makes suddenly that thing, you know, matter in some way for your overall score. Tom, what's your keep it?
Pace of battle tomes.
Oh, okay. All right.
So we've been at 8 to 10 per year.
Yep.
Since launch. Let's keep it going. 8 to 10. Let's just keep pounding them out. You hit year 3, hit year 4. Awesome. Keep them moving. 8 to 10.
Okay.
Like,
so effectively at that rate, right? Let's assume we averaged 8 or 8.5 or something around that number, right?
Yep.
8 to 9.
Everybody's updated in year 3.
Yeah, exactly. So within each, what you're saying there is definitely everybody gets a book every edition. That's what happens because we're on a 3-year edition cycle now.
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
and like, are we on a full 3 year now?
Yeah, it's a 3-year edition cycle.
Okay.
I mean, like, I don't know that, but of course we are.
Okay, sure.
Like,
okay, so
every game they
then-
have is on a 3-year edition cycle.
Sure,
I see no reason to believe we wouldn't be any different. Like, AOS has been since launch, 2015, 2018, 2021. Okay, I have no reason not to believe in 2024 it won't be AOS 4.0. Like,
sure. Okay, fine. Then maybe 8's low. 10 to 12. Like, what I want to see is everything updated, and I still want to see new books.
okay.
Uh,
Okay. Because you're saying when you say new books, you mean new armies.
I want to see 1 to 2 new armies a year.
Wow. Okay. What gets retired?
Cities.
The literal thing I have on the screen right now. The thing that they're doing an entire year-long or whatever build-up to right now of, hey, get excited, we're redesigning this entire line.
Yeah, but that counts. Redesigning an entire line, reimagining it.
Okay, that counts as one of the new armies.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Like, I'm talking about entire new model lines, right? And so doing 1 a year.
Got it. Okay.
Like, is that
so the rule
too
is
much
new
to ask?
model line, not new armies. So for example, you want to see some new armies too, but you're not literally saying we have to have or 2 new complete armies cut from whole cloth every single year.
Correct. I still want to see updates where, like, portions of a range are updated in a book. I don't want everything to be heroes, you know, clan pack heroes or battle box, you know, like, releases.
Yeah, sure.
Like, we need to have some line refreshes. Sometimes we need, so there's a couple different things here. Sometimes we need like portions of a refresh. Sometimes we need the entire line refreshed, and sometimes we need the line reimagined. So, like, cities is a reimagining.
Yeah,
that's not a line refresh, right? And so that's what I'm talking about. Like, when I say new armies, an entire line refresh isn't a line reimagining. And so a reimagining is what I'm talking about, like a new thing of whatever that is.
So if they do like a Seraphon offshoot section, like they actually give models to, let's say, the Starborn Host ones.
That's like portion of a That's a portion of a release. That's not that's not a new conceptualization.
But it's not a new conceptual thing. But like if they made it like full on space lizards as like that whole thing, would you consider that a whole new line?
Yes. Like if you had like a dozen new kits of the space lizards.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
That's certainly qualifying for what you're talking about, where we get the actual lizard spaceships.
Because, like, a great example of this would be Yeah, can you imagine a bunch of Aztec spaceships? It would be amazing.
Yes, I can, because the art in Heart of Gur is incredible for that lizard man spaceship.
Sure.
It's so wonderful.
Sure.
And I want that. I just want that. I want Battletoad Gothic. We've talked about it on this show like 100 times. But I want Silver Towers fighting like Caradron Overlord skyships, and then Skaven Scryer flying ships, and Seraphon spaceships, all just like in an aerial dogfight. I want AOS fly aroundicus.
Yes.
And I want Gorgunters in space so I can yell pigs in space every time I show up to the table.
Look, the orcs will get up there somehow. They always do.
Yeah, always do. And so so a great example of this is Warclans. Okay. So Warclans launched an entire new line within that book. It's not just Iron Jaws, it's not just Savage Orcs. We got Hobgrots, Cruel Boys, right?
Yeah.
Like I consider that to be a reimagining, because they dramatically expanded what the line was. And so like that would be an appropriate, assessment. So that's what I want to see. And I want to see that pace keep up, because what we've seen is not that. We've seen 2 years of fairly rapid book releases, followed by a year of tepid releases and storybook half update thing.
Sure, the sort of end of the edition thing that happens. Yes. We got like Broken Realms and stuff. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. They need to take a lesson from WotC and just make the product evergreen.
So, sure, though that's it. That's a dream to stop the edition roll. Sure.
Yeah. But let the edition roll be part of the
yeah, I mean, it's always tough because you I think about that. I don't mind if they do those. Let me say it this way. I don't mind, and I'm curious. We'll probably discuss some of these takes here in a moment for everybody's. But you raised a really interesting point to me. I kind of hate it when you get a battle tome 3 months or 4 months before an edition change is about to happen, and you know it's coming. Like we all know it's coming in summer of 2024, right? Because again, if everything in 40K, Kill Team, Warcry, and AOS has went on a 3-year cycle. We have no reason to believe it will be any different for the next edition of AOS. And it just kind of sucks when you're the last, when you're the last chopper out of Nom or something, of the old edition. Soulblight Gravelords is a perfectly fine book, but it would have been so much better as just a true 3.0 book. Right? And so I don't think I want any books for the 9 months leading up to the edition changeover. Like the last book should release in fall of 2023, the last mainline book. And then they should just be like, no more books, no more battle tomes. It's just not happening. And all we're going to do is narrative stuff. We'll do a special narrative event and it'll be fun and you'll use your armies in weird and wacky ways. The end of the edition's coming. You all know we're on this cycle. We've been incredibly transparent about it. Here's some fun things. They're going to have a limited use that you can get into. They're just there to have a wacky good time and change how your armies are playing as we all send off the edition into the sunset together. Right?
Yeah, it's a beautiful time to release things like the Incarnate. Like that changes up the meta, that changes up because they're going to do more Incarnates.
And then you can also thank you, Tristan. That's such a good point. Yeah. You can if you've got risky things you want to release that you think might break the stupid game, like an Incarnate, for example. Okay, put it out 6 months before you roll the editions, and then or 9 months, and just don't necessarily allow that thing in the next edition, right? Just your default battle pack doesn't even reference it. And then only put it into the next battle pack if you think it actually passed the smell test.
Yeah. There you go. I think it's a great idea.
Way too logical.
Good job, Das.
But yes, I agree with you on the pace of battle tomes. I'd love to see, honestly, like the first 2.3 years of an edition, everybody's refreshed. Just like breakneck pace. Let's do it. Let's keep doing them in doubles. I'm with that. Okay. All right. Very good. All right. Anybody else have any thoughts on the pace of books? That was a good call, Tom. I like that.
My hot take is that every new edition should launch with indexes. So that's my hot take. because that was the best part of the last 40K refresh was the index launch,
Sure.
because that made it so
Right.
everybody was on the same footing. Everybody had units that all kind of worked the same. There were rules that everybody had, so it just swept up a whole bunch of people and made the game so much more accessible. But yeah, and then like they added all the other books and it just became a haves and have-nots after that. But to me, indexes, or like, I don't know, whatever you want to call them, archives. Let's call them archives. That would be, to me, the best way to launch an edition.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I am completely with you. Like, Ravening Hordes was some of my favorites. Just like, I love when everybody's on exactly the same footing. The problem with that is you will probably get more angry people than, and yeah, by the way, Adam said it can be digital. Yeah, sure. I don't care. Like, if they need to make it be out as a book so that people have to pay money, I don't care that much. Like, as long as you make them cheap, like soft cover cheap books, it's fine. But you know, like, it is a business. They are a capitalist enterprise. Like, I understand what's going on.
I thought they did it for the love of the game.
Yeah, indeed. But I would prefer it just be digital. I agree. That would be the better way to go if they want it to be really consumer friendly. The problem is everybody would be angrier at them than if they didn't do that. Because then they'd be like, oh, now I have to throw my book in the trash. Why'd I even buy this book?
Yeah,
right?
That's
That would be the response. Okay.
I only got one of those books behind me, bud. Calm down.
Yeah. So, but yeah, okay. All right, very good. My keep it is very simple. My keep it is all of the armies. All of the armies. And what I mean by that is I don't want anything else retired. So my keep it's pretty simple. I feel like we retired enough stuff. I'm good with the amount of retirement we've had. Let's stop retiring things. No more retiring. What we're going to keep is everybody's here now. You all get a space. You're all in. You're all in the club. We have a seat for you. You in perpetuity, or at least, you know, for a reasonable amount of time. That is to say, like, nothing lasts forever. The world, all and we and all is eventually dust, of course. But you know, like, a reasonable time frame. You know, your army that you're into is going to stick now. We've had enough time. We know what's going on in the mortal realms. No more changing around armies. This is what they are. Everybody's gotten in their seats. Right? Musical chairs is over. We're done. Everybody's got a
I
seat.
already cried once.
Okay.
It's like he's reaching right into your soul, Tristan, and ripping out all your
I
feelings.
know.
It's fine. It's fine.
Nice.
I'm just crying on the outside.
I didn't
I'm
say
just
nobody
letting you-
new. We can have new people. I just said no more retirement. Okay.
I know.
I mean, look, Tristan's probably the only person in the world who has more Tomb Kings than I do painted. So, you know, I'm just saying, I get it. I get it.
I'm just a freak on a leash here, man.
Sure, absolutely.
That's how we do it.
But that's what I want to see. Like, I just don't want to deal with any kind of suspicion or is this guy... I'm so sick of people talking about is this going to get squatted or something, which, by the way, I don't even know if that works anymore.
No, it's TK'd or TKO'd.
TK'd. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, TKO'd. I don't want anybody else to get TKO'd. There you go.
There we go.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, as
TK
someone
outed.
who dove pretty hard into an army that then they just stopped letting you play them, even though they said back in the day that, oh yeah, and you'll always be able to play them. I agree firmly. Like, I got into this game knowing full well that they had stopped making Tomb Kings, because I didn't play Warhammer Fantasy at all. There's never a game that interested me. I thought
Sure.
Rank and Flank was boring. And my opinion is 100% correct. Suck it, chat. And it just sucked, because like you put in it's like the character of each one of these armies that we have right now. They've done a great job of making everything so idiosyncratic. Like, everything has its own voice. Like, they've done a good job, or at least a pretty good job, with the verisimilitude of a lot of armies, or at least are like aiming them, the play styles. Like, they've done a really good job. And like, having my Tomb Kings get legended, having them get thrown into the dust of history, it just sucked, because like they did a good job on them too, because they almost broke that. They made it so nothing else played like them. So I was just standing around being like, well, what am I gonna play now that
Sure.
gives me the same feeling? And it just,
Don't
I
have
don't
a
want that
spirit
for other
animal
people.
anymore.
Well, I don't know. Spirit. We don't have to talk about spirit animals. But yeah, so yeah, totally agree. Totally agree. Don't need it.
Mine's
Keep
a cat.
cities.
So yeah, I think that's just like they should. And by the way, I would make that an official thing, where we say these are all the armies in AOS. They're not going away for the foreseeable future. I'm not talking like a restricted list thing. We don't need to go that far, but like these will stay for the, you know, we know these are here for the next at least 5 years, 6 years, for the foreseeable future. You can keep it amorphous like that. I don't care, right? Because I'm sure by 9th edition AOS or something, we'll probably be retiring some line or another. Fine, whatever.
I mean,
you know.
Couldn't you at least make the promise of like for the next edition?
Whatever. Yeah, I mean, there's lots of ways you could do it, right?
Yeah.
And fine. Like, I don't care.
Yeah,
just plant the flag, right?
They definitely want to keep their outs so they can get rid of things like Fire Slayers, right? So
Yeah, got to play to those outs, right? Yes. Hades says retire models, not armies. Yeah, sure, absolutely. There's some models that I'm happy if they go the way of the dodo, like especially if they get replaced with a fancy new model. But sure.
All right, I don't care if they get rid of Fire Slayers as long as they don't replace the concept, right?
If they retire all of the existing Fire Slayer models and they're like, oopsie doopsie, look, those all were bad. We're gonna try again. Here's Fire Slayers 2.0.
Cool, I'm in. Like
they've got pants now. They discovered pants technology.
Yep, like give them like Aztec gold mantles, right? Give them some. Yeah. Anyways,
sure.
See, you say this now, but let's talk about Lumineth Realm Lords and the Joker face weirdos that are OBR. Like, whenever you change something like that, it can have a totally different effect on you, right? Like,
yeah, because you don't know if the devil you know versus the devil you don't, right? The new aesthetic might not hit for you. Yeah, sure.
Then you know what? I'm going to use my old models.
Sure.
Go team.
That's the alternative, right? Like, but that's the point.
Listen, I just need something with a chariot base, man. Let's go.
Seriously.
We're spoiled for options though for faction choice. Like there's the hardest point is just trying to figure out what you want to dedicate yourself to. And most of us have like freaking like 8 armies just sitting on the shelves.
Yeah, I mean there are 25. To be clear here, there are 25 armies in the game right now. Just so we're all clear with what I'm stating them to commit to, right? So
you're forgetting the Beastmasters.
What's that?
You're forgetting the
Beastmasters.
Oh,
26.
Unofficial things like Chaos Dwarves and Feastmasters don't count. They're all fake armies.
For you, Ted.
Wow.
However, the Feastmasters are at least as real as Chaos Dwarves, so that's fine.
There you go. True.
So they're on a level. Okay. All right. Okay. Good. So that was our keep it. What are your keep its? I've been seeing lots of good comments in the or lots of good chat there going by. Just to review real quick, Bud, battle tactics. Dayton, more even points. So lack of bonus points all over the place. Basically keeping even scores, which we're seeing in the current season. Okay. Tom, book release timing.
Pace.
Yep. Book release pace. Tristan, bond of battle, brotherhood, brother battles, fight within a half an inch of people within a half an inch. Right.
Just flows off the tongue.
It's so easy. And for myself, all of the existing armies. So there we go. That's our keep its. Okay. Lightning round time before we leave it behind. See, I told you I'd surprise you and change the rules. Without any discussion, is there anything else anybody wants to say? This must be kept. I love this too much. Any little item people want to throw out there? Dayton, do you have a second one?
Rolling dice.
Good one. We definitely keep it a dice game. I'm with that. That's fine. That is a valid selection. Tristan?
Kicking objectives.
Oh, you want to see kicking objectives stay? Okay.
I want to see it.
Okay. I love how we went from the broadest possible thing to the most specific thing. Just like from telescope to electron microscope in one choice.
I have range.
Sure. Bud?
Smaller table sizes.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, that's
okay.
A great choice.
Bud is just dropping the hot takes tonight. I love it.
God.
Okay. Tom?
The Mortalis Terminexus.
The particular endless spell from Nighthaunt, huh? That's the one that has to stick around. Okay.
Yeah.
You could have picked endless spells as a whole, but no, it's just that one.
No, there's that one. Like, it's my favorite. I love it. I loved it, and I love pushing it around. If people go, and what's that? And I'm like, I don't know. You're about to find out, though.
Wait and see.
I don't know.
Yeah.
God, Tom. Freaking verse.
Okay.
I don't know. I just put in my list. I think it looks cool.
D3 mortal wounds to this 12-inch bubble.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, this is ridiculously very large area. Yeah,
You know what it does, Thomas.
It's a pretty good endless spell.
Hold on, rules on it.
The
Thaddeus Leon, don't you lie like that.
priority roll. Priority rolls.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's
one.
like such an obvious one that I felt like we didn't have to say it.
We got to plant a flag and defend it. Yeah. It's just like, it's such a core part of the game. It's such an interesting mechanic in how it works. It can be both punishing and empowering. It adds like a skill test to a really interesting element of the game. It adds an unpredictability. It creates moments of surprise and suspense. It can be tough. There's certain people who will just probably never play the game as long as it exists. Like, that's just reality of the thing. And that's fine. I'm not going to, like, if that's not a thing that they enjoy or can picture themselves enjoying or want in their game, I have no ill will against them. But I think as the game it's become as core to the heart of this game as anything else, and should stay for as long as AOS exists. So, okay, cool. Let's keep it. You know what that means? It's time for change it. By the way, I tried to make this art appropriate. Like, keep it was the city of Sigmar, because they build keeps and solid fortifications and stay in places, you know. And then
they're all stale old kits that come with squares still.
Yeah, and we've kept them forever. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Change it. There was obviously only one piece of there's only one god that could be used here. Only one army that had to show up here.
Vince's favorite, Archeon Zinch.
Love them. Can't get enough. All right, change it. So the thing where we like maybe an idea of what's going on, like there's a kernel of a good idea here, right? But it needs to change. It needs to evolve. It needs to be rewritten, altered. We've got to bionic man it, right? We can improve it. We have the technology. Okay. So this time, Dayton, you're starting us off.
Jeebus.
What's your change?
Generic battle enhancements.
That's your thing you want to change, or is that?
So what's? I should state here. You've got to describe what your change is, of course. So.
Oh, okay. Now we're doing homework. All right.
Yes, indeed.
Way to bring out the red marker.
I'll buy you a moment here as I answer Tom's question in the chat. Why did we go for the Lord of Change crotch shot? It was the most interesting centered position for the whole army. But yes, it is very centered on that Lord of Change's like bird groin. That is true.
All the way through these GHBs and everything that's going on, we've still been keeping the same generic enhancements.
Bud with the same angle, the same energy.
There we go. Okay. The same. You mean like the core rules enhancements, like the command traits?
So the Arcane Tome, and because everyone just knows Arcane Tome because that's the one that's taken all the time.
Yep.
Or Master Magic. You know what I mean? Like.
Yep.
Flaming Weapon.
High Priest, Flaming Weapon, Master of Magic, Arcane Tome,
and
Curse, all the hits.
Yeah.
Dayton, to be clear.
To be fair.
To be clear.
To be clear, that we're on Warhammer Wednesdays. This is what you want to change slightly.
Yes. Like I like the idea of the generic enhancements to kind of help balance books out, but I need to see a change now. Like we've been riding these ones for so long now. It's kind of it's dragging on me.
Okay. So I'm gonna plumb here a little bit. We're plumbing. Okay. Are these removed from the core book and moved to like the GHB
battle packs?
They should be,
or to a battle pack or something like that.
I'm actually really surprised that hasn't been done that, right? Like they just keep the original still in the back of the rules. Because that's every GHB always goes back to reference the original rules, right?
Sure. Like there's no reason a battle pack couldn't say generic enhancements may not be used. Instead, use these.
Right.
Right? Like
Right.
we don't
Just
we don't
the
even
new
really
edition.
need to change anything. Like the technology's already there. They
Right.
could just say,
And
okay,
it's one more page or two more pages.
yeah, here's this season's
Battle Pack.
universals. Right?
Yeah, it's like what they do with the battle tactics and the grand strats, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The
Exactly.
exact same thing.
But
Yes.
those ones they decided to just never change, and it's kind of weird.
So we all end up with the exact same thing. Like, legitimate question. You go like for everyone who plays who's been playing some games of AOS. Out of the last 10 games you've played, okay, how many armies that you played against would you say had either Arcane Tome or Master of Magic in their list?
Like,
Yes.
I would say like 30%.
Okay, that's lower than I expected. Tristan, what about you?
Aim. I think I'm at like 70.
Sure.
Like it's like whenever it's not that, I'm surprised.
Right.
It's-
Yeah.
yeah.
It's almost the default. Bud,
Yeah.
I know you haven't gotten any games recently because of the you're busy shepherding the next generation, but what do you think?
That's right. Well, I would say like just at, from NashCon and Slaughter, it's like it's 70%. That's sounds about right.
Yeah. I've got to agree with that number easily. Like, honestly, 7 out of 10 would be shooting low for me.
Haven't played any games without that in months.
Yeah, and you're saying in your list?
Right. All of my lists have Arcane Tome by default.
Sure.
Right with you there, Thomas.
Yeah, like that's where I start. Cool.
Yeah, it's just interesting because we like, and that's not, I don't know that it's necessarily a bad thing. I tend to have some universal in basically every list I've made most of the time. So, which I think that conceptually isn't a problem. It's fine if the universals are interesting. The problem, Dayton, that I think you're highlighting, that I think I agree with, if I've got my finger on the right thing, is it's not that you taking universals is a problem. It's that we've only taken the same universals for the whole time of basically 3.0's existence. It's like the same
Right.
5 things. Period. That's it.
I would say 4 almost, but yeah.
Sure. I mean, Curse is just like, Curse is the appendix, this little dangler thing that's like hanging on there, because really it's High
Curse
Priest,
is
Master
for like
of Magic.
spoiled people like Seraphon,
Sure.
where they're just like, sure.
Well, or like Fireslayer's like the rune master, like the main caster that gets all the prayers automatically from the lore. So he's like, cool, curse, like
Yeah.
because that's the only one he already gets everything else, and so he just defaults to curse.
Dayton, where do you want the power level of the generics to sit vis-a-vis compared to what's in the actual army books?
I want them to be like, you pick what's in your book, and they've been doing a pretty good job of making some really enticing enhancement picks.
Sure.
And then, okay, I get an extra one. Maybe now I'm going to start looking into the universal for
Got it.
somewhere that I'm kind of lacking a little bit.
I think that's a good goal. Like, so it's kind of 50-50 on the second choice, unless the universal happens to play into like some exact strat that you were going to build to or something like that, right?
Right. It shouldn't just be a go-to. Even with like the new Seraphon, you're still seeing Arcane Tome or Master Magic.
Yeah. You got to turn that Engine of the Gods into a wizard somehow, homie, and it ain't gonna just wizard itself. Okay. So
Read good.
I've got to create the most powerful unit in existence by having a monster with the skink keyword who can summon things and pray and cast spells. It's the everything model. Just there is no rules. I do not have. I have more. I'm like a 3rd edition D&D druid. My special rules are more powerful than your entire army.
Here's one for you. It's like the Mall.
We'll
of
return to
America.
that.
Or the
What'd you
West
say,
Edmonton
Tristan?
Mall. West Edmonton Mall. It has everything. It is a roller coaster.
It's got an ice rink.
I miss ice rinks and malls. That was always fun.
Yeah.
I loved ice rinks and malls.
Good times.
There's a new hockey team that's actually going to be playing all their games in a mall. They just signed it for like a 4-year deal.
That's incredible, and I love it.
Are they called the rats?
Amazing.
All right,
There you go.
Bud, you're up next. What's your change it?
Coherency. I like it. I like it the way it is, but I think it needs to be adjusted for, and they're starting to do it for the larger base models. I think we need to see a little more for that.
Okay. So what's your coherency change? We know how the normal rules work now,
Okay.
right? What's the... We're already keeping Battle Bond Brotherhood of Brother Bound battles. Okay,
Yeah.
we know that. That
Yeah.
stayed because we said that in the first round. So what's your coherency change now to like fit along with that?
Well, I think if anything, I don't have a hard and fast line, so I don't want to hear all about that. Well, what about this? Well, what about this? But I think like the Storm Drake Guard rule, where they're like stuff on bigger bases is getting that 2-inch coherency, and they don't need to be within 2; they only need to be within 1. I think it is. I like that, like, and especially like you get units like pigs. Like the amount of geometry that you have to be able to do to fiddle around and try to get, I'm trying to get this in here. And I know that because I did it on Geometer's Sketchpad, that if I put these two ovals here and this one here.
Yeah, if I got the puppy paw formation. Yeah, the
Yeah.
inverted puppy paw.
Yeah. And that kind of stuff just slows down the game. Like,
Yep.
you put them in. If there's only
Well-
6 of them, like, geez Louise.
Well,
Eels.
Bud, you know, if
Eels
you
are
went
hard.
to Mini Mag Tray, I think that he could probably help you out there.
Yeah.
Use discount Mini Meg Bro, 5%
you
off.
have to, and you have to assume that you're attacking into like a perfectly formed rank to be able to do that.
Right.
And so that's my change.
Okay. So is the change here? I'm gonna push you a little as well, Bud. Here we go. I'm gonna give you 2 options.
Okay.
Okay. Option number 1: the coherency stays largely the same, but and now instead of being like 5 or under, you have kind of old school coherency. You need to be within, an inch of a person, right? It goes to up to 6. Okay, and the reason I pick 6 is not just to, arbitrarily, right? Obviously, there are just a lot of units that are base 3 and reinforce into 6s. Pigs and flares and 100 other things in the game, right? Storm Fiends,
Gluttons that
Zangor
come in
Enlightened.
sixes.
Gluttons, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Zangor, yep, of both disc writing variety,
Yeah.
like 3 to 6 is a just pretty popular thing. Okay, that's option 1. Option 2 is we say up to 11. Okay, so at 11, your 32 mil guys and all those types of people, they can now string back out again effectively, right? So they become like they like, but it's capped at I say 11 just because to take it 1 over because of odd things that would happen.
Warcry warbands.
Warcry warbands and Blitzbarb archers and just weird stuff, right? So basically at 11 or less, you have an inch of 1. So little dudes can spread out. Basically, they would have about the same footprint as for currently 5 Cav models, right? Because that's what everybody likes to use as their chaff now. Is just you take 5 Cav models, they're all Tokyo drifting sideways, like they're in doing some kind of parade in front of your army before the battle, right? And that would be about the same space as your 10 guys on 25s or 32s, roughly. It's not exactly, but it's roughly. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. My gut. So initially, my gut was saying 6.
Mm-hmm.
But now hearing you explain that, I would almost be willing to try your idea. You're just that convincing.
Oh, well, I wasn't trying to lead you either way, but I'm glad it worked.
No.
Is that why his name's Vince?
Yeah.
I get it.
Is he?
Good
Yeah.
joke.
That was really good. I enjoyed that one.
There you go.
Now, Tristan, where are you falling? What do you want to? If you were gonna, where would you vote on this?
Well, if I was gonna pick this as a thing, such as whenever I submitted the things that I was picking to you, Vince, whenever I pick coherency, I would say either lock it to 6 or that it needs to be a reinforce units to get the coherency rule. So if like you have a basic 11 as your number, if you're not reinforced, you don't have to care about that. And since you're reinforcing your unit, you are taking on the like trash panda that is dealing with the coherency rules.
Okay.
That was kind of my thought. Was
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I think what we all don't want to see is 30-man conga lines, right? That's just ugly and stupid and awful. It's,
we have seen that. I love doing that with skeletons.
What I do want to see though is 10-man cav units, and none of this solves that.
Well, if you went to 10, you would certainly have whatever.
You'd still have to be within an inch. No,
of one model.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So
you have old school coherency up to 10.
Okay.
As Vince said, and as who was it? Amusing Parks joked in the chat, this coherency goes to 11.
Yeah.
It
so
goes one past 10.
Indeed, yeah. So your standard 10-man cav models for Hex Wraiths or Blood Knights or Black Knights or whatevs. Okay. Hellstriders. We can keep going. I don't know why. I don't know who in the world is reinforcing Hellstriders or Seekers. There's got to be some lunatic out there.
It's the eels. The eels are the worst.
But eels are in 3s, so they're well in. They're fine. Okay, because the minimum I think is 6. Okay. And so to me, I'll tell you, I would just set it back to 11 and just call it a day. My personal take. Like, I love the change, bud. And the reason is just let 10 dudes stand in a picket line. It's fine. Great. Who cares? Whatever. I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about, what I'm worried about is 20, 30 morons, doing this around the board.
Who would do that?
You, every single game I ever played against you.
Every single game time.
Literally every game.
Come on, Tim.
Yeah, Bing fries are done.
God damn it, Tad.
All right, so universal enhancements from Dayton, coherency from Bud. Tristan, you're up. What do you got?
Well, I was going to say coherency, but I'm actually going to shift gears and say rally. Rally should never be on a 4-up.
Screw you.
And it should be max on a 5-up for those special, beautiful Beasts of Chaos lovers everywhere. Because 50%, whatever. It's all Fire Slayers.
There's Kane.
Good God. Yeah, see, there's so many armies that don't need a 4-up rally that have a 4-up rally.
And they seem to give this out really inequitously, I would add. There's no, speaking of coherency, there's no coherency to the story of who is getting this enhanced rally. Okay? So, the Stormcast Vanquishers, or whatever, a melee unit that exists in 5s, so 5, 10, 15 of these guys, right? Can rally on a 5-up. Okay.
Yeah, cause they're so brave, Vincent. They're so brave.
Meanwhile, but that's a specific unit bonus, right? Sylvaneth have bug riders, just elf wood people on bugs, who can rally on a 5-up again. Because now maybe the argument there is they're kind of life oriented, so sure, I guess, whatever.
Sure, they pop the chrysalis. Who knows?
But it's unit specific. The thing that drives me up the wall and back down the other side is the Daughters of Cain rule, or the Fire Slayers thing, where it's just like a banner effect or something like that, or a commander effect, where it's just like, anybody in this range, go ham, baby. Whatever unit you got, just go nuts. Everybody
27
rally.
Witch Elves coming back.
Yeah.
Turns out they were laying down.
5 Zangor Enlightened coming back.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because to me, this should be something that should never have been given out like that. Like, it should have, since we're not giving out reinforcement points all willy-nilly, maybe this should have been the way for the Horde armies to be able to, have the reinvention, the refilling of their ranks. It should have been given to Skaven in my mind. It doesn't make any sense to me that Fire Slayers would get it, or Daughters of Cain. What?
Or Gits.
Well, Gits almost makes sense because that's how they refresh.
They're almost over 40% win rate now. I mean, the game is broken.
So close. They're gonna get there, buddy. We lost Tristan again. He'll be back.
I just broke Tristan.
You broke Tristan.
That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I completely agree. I'm interested in other people's thoughts, but I completely agree on the 4-up rally. That should be almost a third rail that we just never touch, because that is the restoration of so many models. We tightly control summoning at this point now. Like, most armies aren't overcharged summoning like we saw earlier in the game. Like, most armies have really controlled summoning now, if they have a summoning mechanic. I say most because BOC still exists in its current form. But that's, whatever. They're one of the most winningest armies in the game right now, I guess. So good on you.
Not with me. I tried to keep that down. I tried, guys.
Yeah. They went from bottom of the barrel to top of the pile, just like that. So the I don't have a problem with a 4-up on very specific occasional units with other criteria if that unit is a melee focused unit and they are effectively trash. That would be the only way I could see myself through. So what I mean by that is like
gore.
Like base, yeah, sure, gore. Absolutely. Regular gore, not ungore, gore. Okay? That would actually give that unit a reason to exist for the first time in all of Age of Sigmar. Regular gits in their current form, right? They're like around their little place, and if it's now, I'd prefer it be limited to like the melee gits, but it's not like I'm that afraid of shooters. I mean, it is what it is. But like that kind of stuff. Very specific, where it's tagged to a particular unit in a particular circumstance. Like if they're near this thing or doing this thing, and all other rally rules, like especially melee only units. Shooting units should just never be in this space. It's nonsense.
14 bow snakes, Vince.
Right, yeah. Yeah, it's like, killed your unit of 15 bow snakes down to 6. Oh, yay. 6 came back. Great. Fantastic. That's exactly what I wanted to see. Right? That's obviously nonsense. Like, it's obviously nonsense. And meanwhile, you've got some armies over here doing this on a 4-up, and as you said, you got Skaven over here who, like, their Clan Rat's big restore thing is a D3 models per turn, which is fine, by the way. Yeah. Like, it's fine. I enjoy that. It's a perfectly fine rule. That's how that stuff should be working. So, yeah, I'm with you, Tristan. I think you took a left turn into victory there. Let me just say that with that.
Shouts to Basil. Yeah.
Don't forget crossbows.
Sure.
Everyone forgets crossbows.
We don't talk about crossbows no more.
Yeah, nobody does, so it's fine. It's we as a society decided that crossbows are not worth discussing. They are sort of the Iggy Azalea of the mortal realms. It was there. It was a lot of conversation around it for about 5 minutes, and then we all just decided we didn't need to worry about it anymore, and we were done with it. Okay.
Yeah, but they nailed it so well for Gossamet archers. They like, yeah, I can consider that. Never ghost boos.
What they did was they created a partner unit to the Glaive Wraith Stalkers.
Sure.
You don't know what I'm talking about, which is what my point is.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I saw a lot of Nighthound armies at NashCon. Didn't see a lot of crossbows. Saw 0 of them, as a matter of fact. But at any rate,
yeah.
All right, Tom, what's your change it?
Battle tactics. I'm gonna do it.
Okay.
I hate them. I hate the play experience that battle tactics generate.
Okay.
Every game ends up being the same experience of me stressing through battle tactics. I don't care what the scenario is. Scenario doesn't matter. Like, it's me trying to figure out what battle tactics, because ultimately your battle tactics are what wins the tournaments, wins events. It isn't doing scenarios. You're gonna, like, it's, do you get all your battle tactics points, or basically all
going 25 for 25 over the course of a tournament?
Right, like that's actually what matters for an event. So it doesn't matter often if you go 5-0. If you don't actually get all your tactics, then you're not going to actually podium. That's not always, but it is often enough that it just creates a terrible play experience for myself. Like the pressure that I feel.
Is it the analysis paralysis also weighing on you?
Yes, because I'm trying to juggle playing my army, but playing my army isn't good enough because I have to actually play the tactics.
Oh, Ted, I got it for you. Have you considered getting good?
See, I hear that matters. I hear that matters, but then people play things like
problem.
Daughters of Cain, and they don't need to be good. They can just do their tactics automatically.
I can agree with you just because you piled on Daughters of Cain now.
Daughters of Cain, yeah.
Yes, I mean, so my critique is simply that it creates a what feels like to me a stale game experience.
Okay.
Because everything is driven by the battle tactics.
All right. What's funny about this one is I think there's people bothered by this on two different interesting ends of the spectrum. Like, you're a extremely skilled player. I don't want to inflate your ego too high, but you are generally on the top tables at the end of tournaments. In round 5, go look at table like 1, 2, 3, or 4, and Tom is going to be on one of those tables in most tournaments I've ever been to with him. Most. Now, you did get your butt absolutely kicked at when you tried to play Nagash at Brewhammer, but other than that, you've got a very winning record. Okay.
It happens.
Big facts.
Look, everybody has an off day. It's all good. Okay. And, you're not coming at this from like a casual player or something like that, right? You're saying, no, as a competitive tournament player, I don't like these. They fill me with dread. There's analysis paralysis, and I feel like if I drop one of these stupid things because of some circumstances that might be outside of my control, right?
Does it feel like a chain with a lock hanging on your neck weighing you down? So that was a reference to a Night Haunt model.
Yeah, no, I got it.
Okay. No, it feels it feels like a goose wrapped around a trombone through his rib cage.
I heard that there's really a new trombone game. Nice.
And maybe my issue is this. I do this, like, I have the same tactics functionally that I end up doing every game.
Sure.
And so it makes every game feel exactly the same because I'm basically doing the same things every single game in often the same order or very similar order. And so, like, the scenarios most of the time isn't what matters. It's actually sequencing the battle tactics appropriately.
Sure. These are likely going to be you're almost always going to use the same 4. The 5th one might alter a bit. It's just what sequence are you doing them in that's going to be appropriate for this game.
Yeah, it's just not interesting to me. It's nowhere near what secondary objectives used to be or could be at some events. And so I just, like, it's complexity. It feels like it's complexity for complexity's sake. That's all it's doing is weeding out certain skill level players. It's like you have to be this high in order to actually play the game on the top 10% of tables.
I mean, certainly at the casual end, I could imagine the same issue being launched of somebody who isn't as familiar with the game going, I've got to read all these fresh every time. I don't have the 8 of these locked in my mind. I face a lot of analysis paralysis and just understanding which one I can even do. Right? So, okay. All right.
Wait, are you going to ask him what the change is? Are you going to ask him what he...
Yeah, I mean, what? Yeah, absolutely. Yes, I am. What is the change, Tom? What are you changing this to? Because you're not doing this and kill it, you're doing it and change it. So you want some concept of this to stay around. Are we changing the scoring system? Are we changing the battle tactics in some way? What's going on here?
No, I mean, honestly, if it were up to me, you can go one of two ways.
Okay.
You do... No, I know how I would change it.
Right.
I would move to a secondary objective system where back to once per game per tournament. And maybe so imagine basically it would be a variable of the Grand Strat system.
Are you just talking schemes, what we used to use at NashCon?
Kind of.
Okay.
But so imagine that you have 7 choices. You can only do one each game. You have to choose before the game. It can be a hidden decision, right?
Sure.
And you have to rotate through a number of them. So it's like old secondary objectives in that sense. Mm-hmm. But the key is that where your grand strat would remain the same every round, your secondary or your tactic would have to change every round.
Okay.
How would I play a one-off game then? Like, would I just get the pick?
Yeah, like outside the tournament. It's a
Sure.
great question.
Sure.
Just like so to with a casual like Monday night game, it would just be like you have 2 grand strategies.
Or if it was a Monday night game, you would have a D6 and you would roll a dice, and it's randomly determined. Because again, if you're just doing a fun game, what you do is you randomly determine what your grand strats are at the beginning of the game.
Why not a deck of cards? Whoa.
Whoa.
Well, but my point being that like have something that is rotating, and have something that is static, because again, in the current system, it's just reproducing very similar play basically every round.
Okay. All right.
Interesting. Do you feel like that's just based on how you build a list? Because I know I've had a decent variety even in my list. Like for me, it's like I have a core 3 that I pick from, and then it's like what off the wall 2 other options do I have? So it's like I kind of have my plan for each round almost set early game, but then it's like, well, I'm gonna be able to kick these objectives or whatever. So yeah, is it a question of just like the way you like to build lists, or is it just no Funsville?
I don't know. I think I'd have to think about it.
Okay. Because there are other options here. The other options here, besides what you're saying, is you could keep battle tactics being around a sort of every round thing, but they could all be contained in the specific battle plan. There could just be a limited number of them. Like let's say there's 2 in each battle plan, and when you do them or you complete them, you get the points. Right? Yeah. Maybe some of them are repeatable, some of them aren't. Whatever. But both players are then using from this same thing, and they're battle plan specific, and there's something that's been tailored and tooled to the specific layout, setup, experience of that particular battle plan.
Yeah.
Right? So that would be a way it could be done.
Yeah, the tournament I just played in that I got best overall, they didn't allow battle tome tactics, so we just used all the ones out of the GHB,
which is exactly the correct choice. That was a good TO right there.
But it was great. Doing exactly what I'm critiquing, which is it creates a very static play experience where you're going to do the same 4 and then another one based on whatever the exigent factors are of the scenario.
It's a very cute dog.
He's a very quiet dog, so I thought I'd get him on camera.
I mean, part of the counter is, like if you know, like generally, would you say which tactics your opponent is going after as well?
Go to bed.
Yeah, but my ability to actually deny those is often infrequent.
The current design doesn't have a lot of a huge amount of counterplay in it.
So then the design would need to be where there's more designed in a way that others could be denied more easily.
But in the challenge here is that they are selected and fulfilled on a player's turn where you often don't have counterplay.
Right. So that's where 40K, they have some where it's at the end of the battle round that like secondaries are scored rather than at the end of your turn, or they're only scored at the beginning, like in what would be the hero phase. So
like you've got to survive to your next turn and so on. And
yeah, you have to survive. So you score those secondaries at the start of your turn. So you have to have held it through an opponent's turn.
We have things we can play already with redeploys.
Yeah, sure. There's some play, but like absolutely,
sure.
You redeploy, you roll out defense, that kind of stuff. Sure, absolutely.
Rally.
Yep.
On 4-ups, 27.
I mean, best day ever, right? Somebody like Tuesday. You wait for your opponent to. The old one was you waited for your opponent to call Slay the Warlord or something, and you best day ever in response, right? Or that kind of thing.
But I think that's a good point, that it's hard to deny, like battle tactics. That like it's not. I think. I don't know. That popped into my head about the 40K and about the start of the next turn. I think that would be a very interesting thing to try out.
All right, good stuff. I think there's a lot of ways you could go with it. I think there's I think
it needs to change. Regardless, I think it needs to change.
Sure. Like if there's ever something I've wanted to survey on in 3.0, I think it's completely battle. Like I really want to do a survey on some different elements of the game here soon. And one of them is absolutely like I have a ton of questions around battle tactics and people's feeling on it. I'm so curious as to how people feel about this in the broader AOS world. Okay, cool beans. my change it. You ready? Here's my change it. Heroic actions and monstrous rampages both have a problem. They are designed wrong. And one of them happens at a wrong time. So I'm going to fix them. Here we go. You ready? Here's how they work now.
Isn't this 2 choices?
What do you mean? No, they're the same-ish thing. They're both a thing. They're both like, heroic actions and monstrous rampages are the same thing.
Hey, Vince's face is on the YouTube channel. He can do his face. I'm looking at the icon right now.
It's my face. It's me from like a long time ago. So here's how they work now. You ready? Roll a die. On a 3-up, pick one of the things off the table. You can do that thing. They both work like that. Okay? So if we have to redesign how some of them work, I don't care. Fine. Like if you need to make some better or some worse, irrelevant. All right? But they all work like that. Period.
So you're annoyed by some being 2-ups, some being 4-ups, some being 3-ups.
One is a bravery test, one is a this, one is automatic, this is a 3-up, this is a 2-up. But there's a worse change here. The worst thing is that they're completely designed backwards. You make the choice first. Then you roll the die to see if you actually do it. See, in game design, that's a cardinal sin. Because you've wasted people's time if they fail the roll. If you switch it to where you make the roll first and then you make the decision, then in the fail case, i.e. you roll a 2 or a 1, no decision is made. Wasted. No time is wasted. Good. You roll the die, got a 2, no heroic action. Good, moving on. Done. Okay?
In the same way that when a charge you can't really eyeball it, you just say, you know what, let's not even measure this. Let's see what I roll. And exactly. Then you're like, okay. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, Miniac, you're late, baby. That was in our keep it. I'm the one who picked that. Sorry. I was wondering if you were going to be around, Scott. Yes, I voted a hard keep it on the priority roll there, my dog.
Yeah.
But
Scott, he knows nothing.
Yeah. No, he's getting into it, man. He's getting into it. He and his buddy, a couple other friends, they're starting up an escalation league. I'm super excited for him.
You mean to tell me that Miniac will actually play the Age of Sigmar?
Absolutely. I can't wait for him to show up and just kick my butt here in December. I have no doubt. I'm gonna skill right up. So So anyways, we switch it around. You roll the die first. Then only if you succeed do you then have to make a choice. And by the way, all the choices will be now relatively balanced against that 3-up. I don't care what it is, right? Like, sure, you heal, you get a bonus command point, you get a bonus unbind or something like that. Like, make it so you get a bonus unbind with a +1 bonus there. Now it's worth rolling a die for as opposed to the automatic thing it is now. Like, I don't care, whatever, right? That's like an engineering problem to work out later. Same with the monstrous rampages. They're all just on a 3-up. It's not stomp as a 2 and roar as a 3, and this thing is automatic, and this one's on a 3-up, but only if you're near terrain, and just like, stop it. Stop all of that. That's nonsense.
And
monstrous rampages move their timing. Okay?
Oh.
Because right now they happen at literally
the worst
time in the entire game. They happen in between the 2 highest moments of tension, okay, in the entire game, which is charge rolls and the start of combat. The reason you played Warhammer, probably, and sat down and decided to play this game was because you pictured you charging your awesome unit into their unit and then fighting. Right? Like, that was a thing you thought about. I don't care if it's your Tomb King chariots or your pigs. You know, you're just rolling in with 6 pigs, or your Maw Crusher, or whatever. It doesn't matter. The charge roll is a high suspense, high action moment. The start of combat is a high action, high suspense moment because you get a fight. Yes, finally I get a fight. I'm going to kill you. Bah! I'm going to punch your face. Right?
It's the most violent I've ever seen you, Vince.
And because it's an exciting moment.
Timmy.
Yeah,
he is
absolutely.
Such a Timmy.
And I love that. Like, that's a fun moment. When you land that charge, like, God, there is nothing greater in this life. Well, there are a few things, but one of the great things in this life is landing a charge with a tooled up mega boss on Maw Crusher into something that you have no business landing it into, and then just watching him go, pick up your toys. Pick up your toys, mate. Those are gone. Those are gone now. Okay? For I am the end of all that is you. And it's great. So, Monstrous Rampages happen in the middle of that. Like, as though they were, if you were trying to put them somewhere in the game that you would forget them, you would put them right there. That's the perfect choice. Okay? So what are we going to do? We're just going to move them to the start of the combat phase, which doesn't seem like that big of a change. But now that there's not like, now that ASF, Always Strikes First people, are separated from start of the combat phase effects, okay? At the start of the combat phase, start of phases is fine because most people have, like, we already have it in our brains at the start of phase. We do various checks. Some command abilities fire at the start of the combat phase. Like, things happen at the start of phases. Start of hero phase, start of this thing. That's a known quantity. We've ticked to a new phase.
Thinking about that.
Right. I'm thinking about the stuff I have to do at the start of the phase. Right.
Your AOS reminders, that's the point where you go like, oh yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And so right there, it is like almost literally a nothing move in timing in the game, but it makes all the difference in the world to you remembering them. So
I like
there
it.
you go.
I'm in.
Those are my changes.
Just shift it to that point. I'm in.
Right. Right.
Like, I'll keep the 2s, the 3s, the 5s, the 6, the like whatever. Like, I'm in. Just move it to there.
Right.
I like it.
Okay. So that's change it. Now we go to.
I'm gonna add one really quick change.
Hit me.
This was from Arrested Waffle House in the chat that I saw that I really liked. But
Okay.
changing the Lookout Sir rules so that they're more like 40k to protect some of those smaller heroes from getting sniped off really quick.
I would be okay with it as long as it was on the scroll. Like, I would be okay if certain units have that ability. Sure.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want a core rule. Because too many little heroes that are powerful utility buffs are like mega ramps to the units they're around.
Skinks shouldn't get it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, the last thing we need is unkillable skink priests. Like, I'm sorry, did you want Seraphon to go back up to like a 75% win rate? They weren't strong enough yet?
Great.
I have a solution for that. Let's just keep waiting.
Sure, okay.
Right.
So, now it's time for Kill It. Ah, yes. Now we call out to Khorne, and we cry for blood for the Blood God, as we scream, these are the things we should kill. The irredeemable things that should be killed from the game. Forever thrown into the ash bin of history, never to be seen again. Their skulls added to the skull throne of Khorne's rules. Okay. Tristan, you're up first in Kill It. What are you killing?
OCR Bone No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, seriously. We can't say Tomb Kings. We already did that, Tristan.
The step... Okay, like, after that gigantic build-up, this eulogy I'm about to spiel off is for the step-dangled deployments. Throw them out. I don't want to do protractor math. I don't want to do any of this dumb stuff. Get it out, get it out, get it out. I don't know. I feel like I'd spend more time doing that, like, dip with all the dice than I do actually, like, thinking about my deployment half the time with my army. It's asinine. It doesn't have to exist. Why do you write rules like that? Just give me the actual boxes that I actually have to play in. It's always been dumb. It just has to change. Like, just fire, like, load the Greyhound cannon and fire.
Bully, I say to that. That is absolutely correct. Every time I see one of those ridiculous deployments, especially when they start touching each other, and then you've got to do like the 9-inch half moons in the multiple squares, I'm just like, get this crap out of here. This is ridiculous. Why are you like this? Like, you could have just drawn a line. It could have just been a line. It's fine. At no point in my life did I think the this is my simple deployment area was a problem. You know, you can do it this way.
What?
You can do it this way. You can great. Okay, cool. You know, you can have it be the whole table in 9 inch, like half and half and 9 inches back. That's fine. That's okay. I'm good with that.
Why are you doing this to me?
You can have
Even
the box corner to box
the
corner.
line.
I'm okay with that one where we're just off the center point. 9 inches, like the box the quarter, table quarter to table quarter. You know what I'm talking about? Like this one. That one's fine. Those are all good. You got many valid deployments that aren't rejected Tetris options. Thank you, Tristan. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm here for you, Vance.
I appreciate that. All right. Dayton, what's your kill it?
Just that. Kill it. Slaying things outright shouldn't be in the game, in my opinion.
Okay.
Marathi player.
It's I don't die ever. It's a feel bads moment. It based on one die roll or Archeon's 2 or Purple Sun, as we saw, which can still slay things outright. It's just there's nothing. I don't get to roll die. I don't get to do nothing. You just kill me.
Okay. Will you allow any oxygen in here? Is there any daylight?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Nagash's Hand of Dust is awesome. And I still love that because there's theatrics to involved into it.
Because it's a fun mini game where you're like, choose your destiny, right? That sort of thing.
There it is. That's it.
Okay. Yeah, for me, I think it's one of those. I think Slay Outright's one of those third rails that like it's okay in very controlled, specific scenarios. Like for example, the Lord of Corn guy who can kill people with his reality splitting axe on a 5-up. That's kind of, if he wounds them, that's fun. That's a fun
guy with
thing.
the puppy.
Yeah, like that's a fun thing on a not that impressive model. You know, like the model is awesome, like the actual model. I just mean like
but getting
in
him
the game.
across the table.
Yeah, like on a slow moving walking foot hero that's got to like move his 5 inches a turn over to you and then punch you in the face, right? Like okay, I can see that. I can see that. All right.
Yeah. Couldn't that be then turned into just a better damaging weapon?
It could, I think, but I think that the reason for it is that it does provide like a high tension, high suspense moment in there, which does have some value. Okay.
It causes the pucker.
Yes. Bud, what's your pick? Good pick, Dayton.
I bandied around. I thought about getting rid of unkillable models, which is really funny that Dayton would say get rid of auto killing stuff. Just because I hate Marathi so much.
Listen, I've traumatized these two co-hosts at Party of the All Points with my daughter's Arcane. That it's a common talking point.
Sure.
Yeah. I thought of
Fishy
like
sucks.
just vicious shooting that happens, but I think I'm gonna have to stick with save stacking because I'm tired of having -2 rend and a model still having a 2-up save.
Okay. All right. So are we just? But this is part of Kill It. So are you just getting rid of like all bonuses to save? Like just the most you can ever add is +1. It just becomes like it just becomes like pluses to hit or wound or anything like that.
Yeah, I would say. So what? Yeah, I have to think about that a little more because, like, I like the to hit rules where you can never have more than +1 or
-1 off your off your printed number. Yeah.
Yeah. Screw it. I've had hot takes all evening. Get rid of save stacking.
Okay. All right. Very good. We'll I won't push you too hard because there's probably like we've talked about it before, and there's probably 10 ways you could eliminate save stacking in various and sundry ways. The one that I was always a fan of was just you can't ever push it below like 3-up, basically, unless it's printed on your scroll that you have a 2-up. Because then you still stand a reasonable chance of dying. Like the difference between a 3-up save and a 2-up save is pretty high. It's statistically very relevant. All right, Tom, what's your kill it?
Seraphon.
No,
Just the army.
All of it. Just gone. All of it. How many examples over the course of this show have taken shots at Skinks or Engine of the Gods or some other Seraphon ridiculousness?
Now, to be clear, are we literally jettison? Are we packing them all onto one of their
dinosaurs?
Spaceships?
Don't take away the dinosaurs.
They're
they are dinosaurs.
Ship and sailing them off into the sky.
Yes.
The extinction is coming.
Okay,
like,
got it. So that's it. No more Seraphon ever.
No, it's a bad line.
Okay.
Like the models are terrible.
Wow.
Like
Wow.
Croak is acceptable.
Okay.
Wow.
I just gone. That's it. I'm like I've never had a good game against Seraphon. Just out.
Okay.
Jettison.
Ever.
All of
Never,
them.
ever.
To the
They've
model
been
of the
problematic.
Every single person you've ever
They've
played.
been
that played
problematic.
Seraphon.
They've been problematic in basically every incarnation, whether it's reducing damage or teleporting and summoning and alpha striking. Just it's bad.
So let's clarify. So it's the rules that are offending you, but not the models.
No, the models are too. They're ugly looking models. Like
He's
they still have
going
models from
all
99.
in on this.
Yeah, like they still have models from 99. Get all of it gone.
You're trying to tell me that you don't like the Razor Dawn? What is up with this pad?
Gone.
It's a
This
classic.
is going to take the award for the flamingest take of the night, for sure.
Ayo.
Bye, Seraphon.
Wow, jettisoning an entire army. Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
flying in the face of the.
I feel-
We're gonna keep all the armies.
Right, yes. One of my keep-its was all the army stay. Tom's swooping in and just being like, nah.
I feel calm and
Nope.
reasonable now.
All but this one.
Yeah,
Naked
I guess.
dwarves that all look the same. You're fine.
Yeah, you
You're
guys
fine.
are in.
Yeah.
Unique dinosaurs of all types. No. That's
The cool dinosaurs riding dinosaurs
With
who
soft
have
skull
lasers and spaceships.
Ugly. Gone.
So wait, the
Troglodon.
dislikes that
Troglodon.
just skyrocket up now.
Yeah. I don't know that.
I will
Where
accept
should we
a
send the hate
reimagining.
mail?
Okay.
To Vince. To Vince. No,
Vince?
I will accept a reimagining.
Okay.
Just
So you're willing to
nuke-
not jettison them if tomorrow, basically, we
we're going
resculpt
into
the entire line and come out
rewrite
with a
it.
new book.
Yeah, like we're moving into the Cretaceous period. Like what was is no longer.
Got it. The Jurassic
Gone.
is
Tom
over.
talked about reimagining
Yes.
armies before. Like that was his keep, like the armies in the rollout. Really what it was is I just want them to work on Seraphon as quickly as possible.
Wow.
That's truly it.
I see your plan now. You had all your battle plan tactics, ideas planned throughout the whole show.
Yep, lined it up, knock
Yep.
him down.
Same as it ever was. Listen,
Okay.
he had line of sight to the Seraphon the whole time,
Yep.
and he just had to blow it up there at the end. See how it is.
I don't know. After seeing a skink eating a hash brown from McDonald's on Twitter today, I'm falling in love with that faction again.
Okay. All right. We're gonna have a little quick lightning round here. So think of your, by the way, at the end of this one. So think of your other things you wanna kill, because there's probably a good swath of little things we could pick. Okay. But mine is gonna be simple. My kill it is battle tactics to make them appear in every single choice of this entire game. It is battle tactics. I don't like them. I don't need them. I don't want them. I'm not going to try to change it. You give me some new system. It's completely different. It's so different. We're not doing the same thing. I'm fine with any kind. Like, we're going to make a new secondary system of some kind, something else I'm playing with, but it isn't called battle tactics and doesn't look like battle tactics. Jettison them into the sun. I don't want them. So there we go. That's
There is
that's my
nothing
kill it.
I look forward to more, Vince, than rolling dice with you next month and us not having to worry about battle tactics at all.
Yeah, sure. Now, if I'm fair, if I wanna take the softer version of my hot
be
take,
fair.
okay, then
It's
it would
fair.
be yes.
Fair.
To be fair, then I would say restrict the battle tactics to like a particular matched play battle pack, and have a standard battle pack that is for people who, everybody else, I guess, who doesn't want them, that has no battle tactics in it. I will accept that as a fallback, as your discussion of like, I want the standard battle pack of the game of like, hey, guess what? This is just Warhammer. Just let's play Warhammer, okay? We're going to strip out a lot of nonsense. Like we talked about in the simplified battle tactics, those don't need battle tactics in them. They
Right next to the Path of Glory, you want the battle tactics.
Yeah. Oh, we'll get to you, Path of Glory. Okay.
Haters sleep.
So there you go.
I
That's
do
my
with my
that's
Path
my
Glory section.
that's my kill it. I would be willing to accept them being unmade, but
Like
I'll also soften to just making them go stand over in a separate room where I don't have to see them. That's okay too. It's fine either way.
That's hilarious.
They'll keep,
Okay.
they'll keep Path to Glory company.
All right. Let's talk lightning round. All right, who's got some other hot picks? We can just toss them out. Tristan, go.
The app output from the Age of Sigmar app.
Kill
Send
it.
into the sea.
Yes, dead instantly. Who's got another one?
Paint pots. Venom.
Pots are switched for dropper bottles. Got it. That's done. Okay, we killed it. Bud, if you got anything else, what do you got?
Oh man, I'm such a loving person and I love everything. I don't know.
Okay, I've got one.
Marathi.
just Marathi. I like her. She's great. Don't let Dayton traumatize you like that. Okay, I got one for you here. All right. It just flew right out of my head. Sorry. Oh, hero face fighting. Hero face fighting.
Like that.
Okay. Now, I will allow it in small increments under very controlled circumstances, just like the rally thing, right? But no more just generic. And certainly all hero face shooting, that's gone. That's out of that's there. No exceptions. That's completely gone.
Yeah.
Hero face fighting, I will allow a little bit here and there on very specific units where it would make absolute sense. And
How
where
about
the
movement
unit
during your
itself-
opponent's phase?
Right.
That's redeploy.
Yes.
No, I'm talking like actual 12-inch or 14-inch movement.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sever.
I love my
Fox
foxes.
move.
Don't do this to me.
All right, Tom.
God.
Love
What's your hot kill? What's your lightning round kill? You got another one?
Quirky, meta shifting 6-month GHBs.
Yes, year-long GHBs. Make it happen. We don't want this 6-month thing. Stop it. Stop it.
Like, and not only that, but like this one was like GV, so this unit and +1 damage, and just like the whole meta was like, whoop, this is a new thing now, right? And as soon as that goes away with GVs and fighting in 2 ranks and all that, like assuming it doesn't at the 6-month mark, but like it's just such a dramatic turnover for such a short period of time.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good. I got a couple more. I
thought of one.
Go for it, bud.
Rules that don't let you pile in.
Oh, this stopping pile-in. Okay.
Yeah,
No
I played
fun
a lot
rules.
I played a lot in Nurgle this summer. It's just dumb.
Okay, very good. Here's one. I got one. Ready? Miscast, not the podcast. The thing. Miscast the podcast can stay.
Who listens to that?
Miscast the thing that happens that shouldn't, because it's silly and doesn't need to be there, and it's an extra rule. And it's we went through 2 editions just fine. We all understood that was a thing that used to happen in the game, and then we moved on. So great.
But Nagash rolling double ones on the first one is so much fun.
It is hilarious, yes, but pretty dumb. Brian S. says,
agreed.
I can't believe nobody mentioned the terrible terrain rules in the entire show. Totally fair call, Brian S. You're absolutely right. I would have put that hard into the change section. That was absolutely up there in my changes. Like, terrain needs a change, a big overhaul. Zinch needs to come in and just be like, yes, I have gifted thee. Okay. Very good.
Incarnates. Are we gonna talk about?
Just gonna throw
incarnates?
incarnates. Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
Yeah, like how did we get through this without touching them?
Kill him.
There's just a lot.
Because the FAQ didn't.
Because you guys used your killets on stuff that made me feel bad.
The stuff that made me feel bad. I will accept incarnates in their appropriate narrative battle packs where they belong, where that's like the thing. Like the Thondia incarnate in the Thondia battle pack where he's a thing and he's referenced, and you get like battle tactics around messing with incarnates and stuff like that. Yeah, sure. Great. Fine.
My low grade hopium for them is that they are going to change it. It's just going to come in the battle scroll. It's going to come like next week or the week after or whatever. So that's my hope.
We can
Matt
hope.
Beasley is really annoyed with that answer.
Who?
Matt Beasley. He's the Incarnate King.
Oh, that's true.
Speaking of another thing I see on my table way too often, yes, Incarnates. Incarnates backed up by people with arcane tomes. How fun. Okay, cool. Well,
I got one.
Oh, go for it. Yeah, hit me.
I got one last one.
Close us
The
out, Tristan.
All right. The monolithic culture of the Death Grand Alliance. I hate it. It's stupid. There needs to be a duality at least. Like, there needs to be some tension to this whole thing. Like, we're in this for the story. If all is Nagash and Nagash is a dumbass, then I don't want to have to listen to him. Like, give me back the middle finger throwing, like, I don't know, dusty skeletons. The fact that they just keep printing accountants is boring.
Yep.
I don't want that.
It's all just middle management in death at this point. Yeah. Like
the U.S. healthcare system.
Could not agree more. Tristan,
right,
what a wonderful thing to end on.
My last one? Nope,
Yeah,
nope. We're gonna last on last. Faction
Dayton's
terrain.
You want to kill all faction terrain?
I want to kill all faction terrain.
Uh-oh, arrested at Waffle House already said, "Don't take my null holes in pizza ovens."
Yeah, I want my herd
says the doc player.
By the way, arrested at Waffle House. I just want to state that's one of the best usernames I've ever seen in my entire existence. That is an incredible name on YouTube. So, A+. All right.
Yeah,
okay.
Gash, he sucks.
Yeah, I don't know if I can back that one, Dayton, but I'm certainly behind the tension within death. Yes.
Or at least like terrain faction that takes up a quarter of the board.
So we're specifically
Seraphon.
just targeting the basically Gloomspite gets thing and the OBR thing now is what I'm hearing.
And Seraphon.
Oh,
Wait,
okay,
are you
sure.
just still mad that they never shipped you that?
Did you ever get it?
We'll see.
No.
No.
GW just never shipped
I
them
printed
the damn
one.
terrain piece.
printed
So now he's mad he didn't get it. That's funny.
All right. Good stuff. Gentlemen, absolute pleasure as always. We'll see. We'll see if any of our recommendations, ideas, insane ramblings are picked up in either future GHBs or we'll know in 2024 when 4th edition comes out. You know, I wanted to get this on the record now, so we can be ready. We can be here and say
we can shape
the future. That's right. We're shaping 4th edition right now. Yes, no doubt. All right, Bud, Dayton, Tristan, gentlemen, absolute pleasure as always. Thank you so much.
Yeah, if you like insane rumbling, just check out Part of the Old Points. We've been around for almost 3 years now.
Yeah.
Party at the All Points is also linked below. Go check it out. Listen, you can get much more of these three fine, upstanding, incredible gentlemen in your ear holes, but only in the safe and consensual way. So,
yes,
go check it out.
Love your relationship.
We ask in the start of every episode.
Absolutely, as one
we
would
just
expect.
have a luster life.
Thanks for having us on, Vince.
Thanks,
Absolutely.
Thanks.
For all of you out there who are watching, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Don't forget to hit that button. I haven't said it the whole show because I'm very bad at this. There's been a lot of you watching this whole show. A lot of you. And so many of you have not yet hit the like button. And it's so easy. Look at how easy it is to click that little button. You just click it. All
Every
your
like
friends
gets
are
a
doing
meow.
it. Yeah,
Get a
click
meow.
it like meow. Do the meow click. You know, be cool like your friends and hit that button. So subscribe, do all those fun YouTube things. We really appreciate it. Don't forget there's a Patreon if you want to support the channel down below that's focused on hobby and taking your next step in your hobby journey. There's a merch store down there where you can place your vote for Team Tom, or Tim, I guess as it is, versus Team Tyler. We're going to total that at the end of the year and see who's sold more merch, determining who is the better co-host in the only way that the modern world knows how, which is through capitalism. And there's all sorts of other fun stuff down there. All the links we mentioned earlier in Pick of the Week are down there too. So go check all of that out. But as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next Wednesday.
Love Warhammer Wednesdays.